14th, 2020. 4 men sit in chairs, one in New York, one in Ireland, one in the UK, and one in California. The time is different for each one, but there is one thing that is true for each of them. They are launching a video game for the first time. And in 2 years' time, each of them will become known as one of the 4 best players in the game. This is that story, the story of the 4 kings of UFC 4. Millions have downloaded and played this game, but only a select few have ever entered the top echelon of players. Of those who have, an intense debate rages. As in any competitive game, arguments over who is the best player are fierce. Everyone has their own opinion, and nobody wants to back down. But among every argument, in every conversation, 4 men are brought up again and again. Any top player who is asked will put these 4 players in their list. The order will change, of course, because there is no definitive way to rank such a subjective topic. But each one has carved a legacy and a path in their own way, and every path is so different that each one needs to be followed to understand the kings of UFC 4. The first steps of the journey begin in Ireland, where a 16-year-old sits at that same desk and opens UFC 4 for the first time. His confidence is unwavering when he declares that he is already and will forever be the best player at this game. He doesn't have much reason to doubt it, either. Suave Jamie was a prolific high-level UFC 3 player. With a record of 9-2 in the ESFL, the game's primary and only true competitive UFC league, he was known for his brazen attitude and aggressive fighting style. The only of the 4 kings to be a champion prior to UFC 4, his experience guided him through the beginning stages of the game. When UFC 4 first launched, Jamie was barred from competition in the ESFL. Due to being part of the leaks that had happened a few weeks prior revealing major information on UFC 4 and causing issues for the EA team, many of whom were involved in some way in the league, he was placed behind immediately when it came to competition. After an agonizing few months of appealing and waiting for the verdict, Jamie was allowed to return a month after the release of UFC 4. Jamie started his dominance with a 3-0 run in his first 3 ESFL fights. After taking down his first 3 opponents, he was launched into his first title fight. His opponent was the undefeated fighter and the first Xbox UFC 4 champion, Davikin. A formidable opponent in his own right, Davikin had torn through the ESFL rankings, winning 6 fights in just a month. These two would engage in a back-and-forth brawl. Though Davikin had his moments, Jamie would prove to be too much for the champion, and ended the fight in round 4. Jamie would go on an unprecedented run in the ESFL, winning 4 more fights in a row. As the 8-0 champion finished his final Xbox fight of the season, there was one thing he knew he had yet to accomplish. It was something that previous champions had attempted to accomplish, yet none had. If he could do it, he would be the first person in ESFL history and cement his legacy as one of the greatest players the UFC franchise had ever seen. The end of an ESFL season is a milestone event. It's the time when every player has one opportunity to change the way they will be viewed in the season with one final fight, and so that fight is always a big one. The tradition is that the dominant champion of one console will move to the other, allowing them to attempt to win the title on both consoles. The history of these attempts up to this point had proved less than ideal for the challenger, with Kinetic NRG, one of the most dominant Xbox champions ESFL had ever seen, failing in his attempt to capture the throne. Jamie, however, was determined to be the first one to accomplish this feat. The defending champion would be GOAT 1099. The first ever ESFL PlayStation champion, GOAT had a formidable 7-1 record up to this point. Known for his striking pedigree and well-rounded game style, he presented significant challenges to the young Xbox champion. These would be exacerbated when the two would fight in an Aljamain Sterling mirror match contest, neither one wanting to give any statistic or stylistic advantage to the opponent in the fighter pick. The two would go back and forth, both doing significant damage and both on the verge of losing the fight. In the end, it would be Jamie who pulled out the victory, becoming the first double champion in EA UFC history and cementing his legacy in the ESFL. In December of 2020, while Jamie was on his historic Xbox run in ESFL, a new opportunity would arise, an official partnership with the UFC. Looking to dip their toe into the esports scene of their game, it would be announced that a UFC 4 esports event, spanning 4 weeks for each console, would be taking place. Jamie jumped at the chance, knowing that he would be able to compete for real money, as well as further cement his legacy in competition. Though much of the footage is lost to history, Jamie did take his first big competitive loss in this event to the forever underrated Peyton Gardner, who would take him to a 2-1 defeat in the first title fight. One loss, however, never defines one of the kings of UFC 4. Jamie would rebound, winning multiple fights in a row and challenging Peyton once again. Understanding that another loss would mean losing his opportunity to become a UFC 4 Esports champion, Jamie would come back strong in the rematch. Over the 25-minute best-of-3, he set a furious pace and outworked the champion from bell to bell, eventually scoring a 2-0 victory and becoming the final champion of the UFC 4 Esports series on Xbox. Understanding that he had now accomplished what he had set out to do and declared in the very beginning of the game, Jamie was content, and for now, would take a temporary hiatus from competing at the top level, understanding that he had carved a legacy that would be hard to overtake. While Jamie sat in his chair and declared his greatness, on the same day, in the other side of the world, a college student and athlete from New York was quietly working away. He had already had the game for about a week due to his connection with EA as a game changer, and now that the game had officially released, he was ready to take his own steps toward becoming a UFC 4 king. Though he was never an ESFL champion in UFC 3, Romero 17 was one of the most widely regarded and well-established players on the game, boasting multiple tournament wins and a top contendership status through the history of the game, as well as beating multiple UFC 3 champions. He was known for his vast knowledge of the inner workings of the game and his unique playstyle with characters, attempting to simulate their real fighting style to the best of his ability. When UFC 4 launched, Romero got right to work. Having come up short against a bathing Ash in the finals of the UFC 3 Champions tournament, he was fiending for a chance to get his redemption and finally become an ESFL champion. Romero would go 2-0 in his first 2 ESFL fights, avenging his loss against a bathing Ash with a swift first-round standing guillotine. From there, he was entered into the PlayStation Grand Prix to crown the first ESFL PlayStation UFC 4 champion. After winning his opening round matchups and beating longtime competitive foe Kinetic NRG in the semifinals, he would be entered against the same test Suave Jamie had to face to win the PlayStation Championship, before Jamie ever had to do it. There is a reason that GOAT 1099 comes up repeatedly in these discussions. Despite not being one of the 4 kings, he is undoubtedly one of the best players to ever compete on the EA UFC series, and it is this reason that found him in the finals facing Romero 17. Despite this formidable challenge, however, Romero would pass with flying colors. He would beat GOAT 2-0, retaining his undefeated record and becoming the first UFC 4 PlayStation champion. Romero would go on to be undefeated, defending his title against multiple formidable opponents, including former UFC 3 champion Papadoc 60 and up-and-coming prospect Prime Boxer. However, wrestling season and real-life obligations would cut his domination short. On November 9th, 2020, Romero 17 would unexpectedly announce that he was vacating the PlayStation title. It's interesting to consider what may have happened had Romero stuck around. GOAT had worked his way back into the title discussion, and after vacating, won the belt and, as we know, would go on to fight Suave Jamie. Had he remained champion and defended his belt, we may have very well seen those two square off instead of the match we got, and gotten a very different result. As of now, though, fans would have to wait to see that matchup. After the UFC Esports event ended for Xbox, the PlayStation side opened up. With his availability cleared, Romero was ready to get back into competition. Ready to prove his lasting dominance over the console, he signed up for the opening tournament. Things went well at first, with Romero once again beating Prime Boxer and Kinetic NRG to get himself to the semifinals, where he would drop a loss to notorious exploiter T4H Rayhan. After this fight, Suave Jamie would attempt to make history once again and become the UFC Esports double champion by winning the title on PlayStation. These two would fight in a match that will be covered later in the video, with Romero coming out on top and challenging his old rival, a bathing Ash, for the PlayStation Championship in the last week of UFC Esports. Romero and Ash had a long-standing rivalry ever since the UFC 3 Champions tournament. Though Ash would best Romero in the finals, Romero maintained that a glitch that had occurred during the fight caused him to lose, and he deserved the win and the crown. Due to this, there was serious animosity going into the title fight. Though Ash fought well, Romero would end with a 2-0 record, submitting a bathing Ash both times and becoming the last PlayStation Esports champion, adding another belt to his growing collection. After this victory, Romero's schedule became busy once again, only being able to compete occasionally until the biggest event of his career, something that 3 of the 4 kings attended and will be discussed later in this video. For now, the attention shifts back to Europe. The United Kingdom has a long and storied history with the UFC, with Leon Edwards and Michael Bisping both taking losses in their careers and bouncing back to eventually become champions. Their journeys to the belt were very similar in some ways to that of Blake Tyler's. Having played UFC 3 only casually, Blake decided that in UFC 4 he was going to take things much more seriously, and committed himself to becoming one of the very best in the world, as well as being the person with the most prize money ever won in UFC 4. In Season 1 of UFC 4, Blake took his time and built himself up to become one of the best. With 5 wins and only 1 loss in a championship bout that will be covered later, Blake poised himself to make his big run in Season 2. With a vicious win over perennial top contender Slick Colt, he prepared to face his own championship challenge in Dino MMA. A fearsome competitor, Dino was widely known throughout UFC 4 as one of the best and most creative kickboxers in the game. Despite this, Blake Tyler would take him down and win his own UFC 4 championship on Xbox. After 2 successful title defenses, Blake would befall the same fate that Romero faced in Esports, T4H Rayhan. Though Blake put up a valiant fight, at the time, ESFL was new to exploiting players and was not fully aware of how to combat them within its rule set. Due to this, Rayhan would end up taking Blake's belt, and he would not compete for the rest of the season except for coming back at the end for a pure fun match. Despite this loss, however, Blake came back strong in Season 3 after a hiatus. Taking down multiple challengers and the champion, he would beat competitors such as Fatinator and God Eat My Pig to become the Xbox champion at the end of the ESFL season. Due to this case, Blake was ready to do the same thing that Jamie had done before him, become a double champion. This would not be an easy task. The fight will be covered in the later portions of this video, but he would end up facing Zyaf, or me. After a back and forth fight, Blake would end up taking the championship belt and becoming an ESFL double champion. He has not competed in ESFL since this feat, but is preparing to make a return at this time. On June 6th, 2021, a unique tournament would take place. 8 players, all regarded as fantastic players through the history of the EA UFC series, would compete, spanning multiple games. Blake Tyler would be one of those players. Though some of the fights are remiss to mention here due to taking place on games that are not being covered today, the final bout took place on UFC 4. Blake would find himself in the finals, standing across from Papa Doc. Though it had taken a fierce journey to get to the spot that he was at, Blake is known for nothing if not his ability to remain calm under fire. With a dominant performance against a man who has spoiled many's aspiration of greatness, Blake would end with a 3-0 victory over Papa Doc and claim the $5,000 prize in the ESFL GOAT tournament. This would make him the largest prize pool winner out of any player in the EA UFC games, and cemented his legacy as a king of EA UFC 4. When it comes to creating videos such as this, it's very hard to rank oneself on the game. No matter what, it is very easy to overestimate or undervalue one's performances and abilities. Despite that, when gathering references for the video, every player I spoke to listed me as one of the 4 kings. Though it may seem conceited to place myself in the same category as the other 3 on the list, it is necessary due to the nature of achievements. That being said, I want to approach the rest of the video as an outside narrator, and so will be referring to myself as my character, Zyaf. The youngest of the 4 kings, Zyaf was only 14 years old when UFC 4 released. Despite that, he had begun to make a name for himself in UFC 3, though he had never competed in ESFL. Determined to set himself apart from the rest of the competitors, he began to compete. Zyaf would not have the same success the other 3 kings had at first. While the others had some form of experience with the competitive nature of the EA UFC games, UFC 4 was the first time he had ever truly grappled with it. Due to this, Zyaf traded wins and losses in the opening season of UFC 4. He would fight and beat some top-level players in this opening season, but ended it with an unassuming record of 10-5 after ESFL 100. Despite this, Zyaf had recently caught the eye of Romero and began to work with him throughout this period of time. Over the following few months, Zyaf would improve his game tremendously under Romero's mentorship and began to blaze a trail through the ESFL. When Season 2 began, it was all business. Zyaf would start the season by immediately defeating Romero in unfortunate circumstances that will be covered later in this video. After this, he was launched straight into a title fight, the first of such chances he had ever received. This fight would be against a longtime bulldozer and top player Swiss Labax. A former UFC 3 champion and member of Team Dark, Swiss was no easy task. After a tough first round, Zyaf would take out the streaking Canadian and claim his first UFC 4 title. Following this, Zyaf would go on a historic run, winning 5 title defenses in a row against the likes of the ever-present and challenging GOAT 1099 and the extremely underrated LS Persiu. He would find himself at an all-too-familiar crossroads, being 7-0 and the champion at the end of the season. Due to the ESFL finally deciding what to do with the exploiter Rayhan being banned after winning the championship, his opponent would be the champion who had only won the belt a day prior, JC21. Though Zyaf has long been known as the young prodigy, JC was just 13 at the time the two would fight. In the clash of those unable to grow a beard, Zyaf would come out on top in a dominant victory, being the third of the four kings to be a double champion on ESFL. While Blake and Jamie decided to vacate after winning their belts, Zyaf is the only one who decided to stick around. Though he was dominant to start, defending both belts multiple times, Zyaf would end up losing a couple times this time around, ending Season 3 with an overall record of 10-4, with his final loss being to the aforementioned Blake Tyler in the double championship fight after Zyaf regained his belt in a rematch of a fight he lost. Despite this loss, Zyaf had staked his claim as the only person in ESFL history to win and defend both ESFL belts, as well as beating almost every top contender on both consoles along the way. It's safe to say that Suave Jamie has been the bane of Blake Tyler's ESFL aspirations throughout UFC 4. The first time the two met, Blake was an up-and-coming UFC 4 fighter who was making waves with his undefeated record. Jamie, however, was an unstoppable force in Season 1, taking the fight to heavyweight, where he knew that Blake would have a strategic weakness due to not practicing at that weight. Jamie would put on a wrestling clinic and finish Blake. He would do the same with his striking at the end of Season 2, beating Blake in a Conor McGregor mirror match and making their record 2-0. Blake would pull back in a Pryoxis tournament, winning a hard-fought encounter and putting a win for himself back. However, when the two matched up for the fourth time in another tournament, Blake would have a stroke of bad luck, dominating the fight and then getting caught and knocked out clean, with Jamie taking the overall record to 3-1. The first time Suave Jamie and Romero 17 met was in a tournament hosted by veteran content creator Heem the Dream. In a careful and non-committal bout, they would fight to a controversial and tight decision, in which Jamie would pick up the 29-28 victory. After this fight, Romero was determined to not lose another debatable decision. When Jamie came over to PlayStation in the first UFC Esports event, Romero decided to put his stamp on the matter. Surprising everybody by picking Zabit Magomedsharipov, Romero would dominate the streaking Irishman with his wrestling and win a 30-26 decision. However, this would not last, as Jamie would yet again win a controversial decision against the New Yorker, this time in a $100 created fighter tournament with a 29-28 split decision. This would bring Jamie's record to 2-1 over Romero before the two matched up at ESFL Live. Though these two never fought in ESFL, they have met 3 separate times. The first was in a tournament on January 7th, 2021. Zyaf had been practicing using Steven Wonderboy Thompson and had been beginning to claim that he was the best Wonderboy user in the game. Jamie, not one to back down from a challenge, would mirror match Zyaf. Though it was a closely contested bout, Jamie's wrestling would make the difference, securing the third round and winning a 29-28 decision. Zyaf would get his tournament revenge, however, taking a 2-0 win back in a $100 stand and bang tournament. This would tie the record at 1-1 before the two matched up at ESFL Live. When speaking to Blake Tyler, he lamented that he only ever matched up with Romero once on UFC 4 competition. Due to them competing in different eras of the game and fighting on different consoles, they struggled to find fights with each other. These two did match up once, however, in the opening round of a UFC Esports tournament. Blake would beat Romero 2-0 in this tournament, with a knockout and a split decision win, something that seems to be somewhat of a theme in Romero's losses. The nature of the UFC 4 community and how the competitive fights are determined causes a set win to be counted as one win against the other in competitive records, so Blake ends with a 1-0 record over Romero. Blake would also only face Zyaf once, due to many of the same reasons he only faced Romero once. This time, it would be for the ESFL Double Championship. Dominating his own console, Blake was given the shot against a resurging Zyaf on PlayStation. Blake was supremely confident heading into this fight, and that confidence would remain unshaken leaving it. Though it was well fought, Blake clearly won and pulled out a round 3 victory against Zyaf to claim his double championship throne. This would end his record with Zyaf as 1-0. Zyaf and Romero matched up twice before ESFL Live over their long history as friends and training partners in UFC 4. The first time was a $100 tournament in which both picked 4-star fighters. Though the footage is lost to history, Romero would get a dominant knockout with Corey Sandhagen over Zyaf's Song Yadong. The second time, circumstances were extremely odd. After his win over Papadoc 60 at ESFL 100, Zyaf was making a championship run. For the title eliminator, he would be fighting Romero. However, Romero had recently had an eye injury and was recovering. Due to this, when Zyaf took Romero down, Romero was physically unable to see and defend himself. To the shock of everybody, Zyaf defeated Romero in round 1 to become the #1 contender and put the record of the two going into ESFL Live at 1-1. Well, the event referenced all throughout the video is finally ready to be spoken about. ESFL Live. The culmination of the entire competitive community and all the hard work ESFL has done was put to the test in one 10-hour event, live in Las Vegas. 3 of the 4 kings attended. Romero flew in from New York. Jamie flew in from Ireland. Zyaf drove in from California. Blake was unable to attend. As the matchups were read out, a gasp was heard from the competitors. Zyaf and Romero had been matched up in round 1 of the qualifiers. The first fight started slowly and ended quickly. With both fighters feeling each other out, Romero, thinking nothing of it, threw a 4-piece combination ending with a head kick to end the round. He did not know he would never see the end of that round, with the Zyaf landing a quick uppercut counter to knock Romero out. The second fight in the set was a much more closely contested bout. Both fighters landed multiple knockdowns and rocks, throwing everything they had at each other. For both, this event was their chance to prove their skill over the other players in the game. At the end of the day, Zyaf would come out on top, capitalizing on a mistake from Romero and knocking him out to win the set 2-0 and ending their UFC 4 competition record at 2-1. Zyaf would go on to fight Suave Jamie later in the qualifiers. Though Jamie put up a good effort in these fights, Zyaf had been on an absolute tear throughout the entire event leading up to that point and had something to prove. Putting on a striking and wrestling clinic, Zyaf would beat Suave Jamie 2-0, advancing their record to 2-1 Zyaf. However, Zyaf was not out of the woods yet. Recovering from his loss and bouncing back, Jamie would meet Zyaf in the semifinals of the entire tournament. The winner would guarantee themselves $1,500 in a fight for the $2,500 prize of the event. Jamie took the first. Zyaf took the second. At 1-1 apiece, everything came down to the third fight. Zyaf made a fatal mistake and rushed in haphazardly, blowing his own stamina and attempting to finish the fight, and Jamie would take him down and finish him, ending their UFC 4 competition record at a cold even 2-2. Jamie would have to fight one more time in the night, against a man he was almost even with and a longtime rival. Romero 17 had worked his way back up after his loss to Zyaf and had taken no other set losses in the tournament. For $2,500, the two went at it fiercely. In a best of 5 fights, each won 2. Everything came down to the wire, and at the end.
Man, it flopped it. There's a big rock. Here comes Romero with a pull counter.
There we go. We have a champion, ladies and gentlemen. Your champion here tonight, Romero 7.
Romero would win their fight, tying their overall competitive record to 2-2 and winning the biggest competitive event in EA UFC 4 history. First place would be Romero, second would be Jamie, third would be Zyaf. The 3 kings who had entered the event would be the ones who left it on top. It's easy to claim when looking at the competitive record between any of these 4 men, which is extremely close for all of them, that one may be better than any of the others. But that is never true. The reason that there are 4 kings of this game is that none has ever usurped the others. That is the beauty of the elite level of EA UFC 4. No one man stands on the throne alone. Each one brings a unique facet of the game to their playstyle and their skill set, and each one deserves a crown and to be called a king of UFC 4.
Fast, already Pry. Oh, beautiful counter to the takedown. Thank you for joining us tonight.
No disadvantage to Zyaf, but then he...
A little too much on Trixie. Nice shooting, good turning.
Watching on Twitch, watching on YouTube, watching from around the world tonight. I know the UFC isn't on right now, but guess what? The virtual octagon is here. Woo! Welcome everybody. It's Sunday. The ESFL is back in your life. We are live. Thank you for joining us. Hello. It is season 4, week 6. It's time for the PlayStation League to kick into gear. We're doing teams again this season. If you haven't been paying attention, which I don't know why you wouldn't, but we're back, ready to lock in once again. 4 teams going head to head tonight. It should be a great night of fights, especially because the UFC is on at the moment either. So we're going to enjoy ourselves. I am Balian. Welcome. Thanks for being here. I've got Mr. I'm a Boxer with me tonight. How you doing, Box? Ready for some PlayStation action?
doing pretty good getting into the season. Can't wait to see how everything shakes out. Stat card, I know we're getting ready to get into it, but I'm ready for a good day of fights, baby.
Hell yeah, man. I got a lot of energy tonight. I don't know about you. I'm ready to go. No, let's hope the fights deliver on the same level. Let's go straight to the standings so you guys at home know where we're at right now in the season, because it's week 6, but you can see, here we go, number 1 and 2 joint. We've got the Kings and Team Dark, 2-0 so far, undefeated this season. And then we've got Elite Kings, No Mercy, Tune Squad, all at 1-1. Actually, sorry, also Bang Bang Bullies at 1-1 as well. So 3 to 6 is way open tonight. 7 and 8 with 0-2 so far this season. Showtime Killers and Killers in action. And the matchups this evening, guys. Oh, the matchups. They shall be delightful. Can we have a little look at that this evening? Just to show these people at home. Here we go. So the Kings will be taking on the Killers in action. That's number 1 versus number 8. We've got Team Dark up against the Showtime Killers tonight. That's number 2, number 7. Then we've got No Mercy taking on B3's Bang Bangs Bullies. That's 4 versus 6. And number 3 versus number 5 with EK and the Tune Squad bringing us home. 4th matchup tonight. I'm loving the way PlayStation is shaking out, Boxer. We're seeing all these guys compete against each other. We've got people in these teams making their debuts this evening, guys. We haven't seen fight yet this season. Let's go. Let's bring it.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, we got a lot of great matchups. I really like how we got that 1 versus 8 matchup. You want to see, like, if these guys can, I guess, pull off an upset. I can't wait to see that. I mean, any of these teams are talented enough to come back from that position. And then you got other matchups that are kind of like in the middle. So when you're in this position, you want to, that's like a rubber, is it a rubber match? I want to be in a position.
The third fight in a trilogy is called a rubber match.
Okay, yeah. All right. So I use the wrong terminology there, but right. You're in that position to where you're going to put yourself at the top, or are you going to go down to the bottom? So I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, you mentioned that. It's a great point, because usually in the course of a season, you get the guys at the top, you got the guys at the bottom, the bottom fight the bottom, the top fight the top. But right now, in this kind of a league table format, everyone gets to fight everyone, and upsets can happen, and people can make a name for themselves and take out some top tier talent in the ESFL debut even. Anyway, debut. Debut indeed. Thank you for joining us though, guys. If you're on YouTube or if you're on the Twitch channel tonight, if you're watching us on Facebook, even on Facebook now, I get there's like 10 people watching us on Facebook. Love it. If you are here on the Twitch channel, don't forget to make some predictions tonight using them coins. I was doing it last week. I won a bunch of money, Boxer, betting on these guys. Well, not the fake money, ESFL.
A lot of money.
Just as good though. But let's go to our first matchup tonight. We've got number 1 versus number 8. We've got the Kings taking on the Killers in action. Let's have a quick look up at the lineup of those teams that they've set through tonight. So we've got Tech. I believe we're going with Tech as the name. It might be Teach. We don't know. We're going to go with Tech. He's taking on KIA McGrath, the leader of the Kings. The Killers in action. Jesus. The leader of the Killers in action, McGrath, representing tonight, getting his team starting off good. Then we've got Gavin taking on Ned. Good matchup. That will be Ned 0-2 right now this season. So Ned is trying to get a win here tonight. And then Cryptic will be taking on Jimmy to bring us home here in this best of 3 matchup, Boxer. Let's go straight to the fight because they've already picked the fight.
Already picked. Can't even really get into it. With Tech. All right, this is, like you said, this is his season debut. Very smart fighter, great head movement, so we can't wait to see that. Francis Ngannou, you already know he has those hands. KIA McGrath coming right out of Ireland, beat Dino week 2, but we already into the very first round, Bailey, and take it away.
Oh yeah, I love the touch. I love the Ngannou pick as well. You got some wrestling now. Nice check lead hook to get us started here. McGrath obviously fought a higher level competition. This is Teach's big first time in the ESFL, like the 3-piece there. Sticks the 2 on the end, lands nicely. But McGrath with the slow pressure so far getting tagged with accommodations though, Boxer.
Oh, wow. And so this is what I'm seeing here. I'm seeing a big shots here coming out from Tech early. And this is his debut. May have a lot of nerves, but he has to watch his stamina. So this is that classic game. Damage versus your stamina. I like that head movement because if you don't get McGrath out there early, he has the stamina to do damage later. And I like that he's touching the body. So it seems like Bailey, he weathered that early storm and now he is on the offensive.
Yeah, and that's all part of being a veteran, knowing, how much you can take, how much you can deal, pacing yourself throughout the course of the fight. Not saying Tech isn't doing that. He's fighting a nice deliberate pace, but McGrath will not get deterred by early combinations. Knows it's about setting those things up, really reaching for that 2 to the body, though. He's already caught 1 uppercut, and there's a nice outside leg kick. I wonder if we'll see any level changes. Ooh, lead hook into a calf kick on the far side. Nice teep as well. McGrath into a switch down straight. Oh, that was beautiful work.
And right now, I'm seeing McGrath seem very comfortable right now and really able to find the range. And whenever you have Francis Ngannou, you got to watch out for that stamina. Look at there. He's switching stance here to southpaw, punches to the body. Tech is trying to intercept that with an uppercut. Wasn't able to do it. Liking the combinations where I'm seeing early coming out by McGrath.
Oh, nice little roundhouse to the liver there as well. Tech in the red corner representing TK tonight, the Kings. And then on the right here, we've got the Killers in action. Oof, nice catch there as well. Push to the fence. Lead uppercut lands. The overhand coming over the top there, but the hands were up in time. But yeah, red corner for the Kings, blue corner here for KIA tonight. In this best of 3, if you are joining us, it is a best of 3 between these two. This is the first matchup of this team. Both teams submitted 3 players tonight to fight for a place in the league tables, the standings. Some good work here by Grath. He's getting the pressure back on, whiffing a little there as well, though.
Yeah, what McGrath is doing right now is what you do and you see from all of the veteran fighters. If you're able to mitigate that damage, if you're able to get your opponent's stamina this low in round 1, it's going to be very tough for your opponent to muster up any type of offense that's going to do some damage, Balian. So right now, what would Tech have to do to, can I say, mount a comeback right now? Because his stamina is looking real low right now, baby.
Yeah, unfortunately, he has kind of whiffed on a few shots, hasn't he? And those slips don't make it any better into the lead uppercut. Right hook landed down, another knee from the clinch position. Not good for Tech with 30 seconds left in the first round. Taking a beating throughout, lost some of the stamina and now dropped hard. Gibbs does not give up the takedown, but that is not a fun way to end the first round, Boxer. Oh, no.
Yeah, no, definitely. When you know it's coming, you know your knockdown is coming. I know whenever you're in your debut at ESFL, you want to come out and make a statement early. But if you don't land, it's going to cost you. Now, the first round is out of the way. You got knocked down. Now, can you settle down here in round 2 and mount your offense?
Yeah, we will see. He's got to pick those shots and be careful. Still putting together 3-piece combinations. Threw a few kicks, but I feel McGrath's command of the distance is that much better. Looks for that lead uppercut again that he landed earlier as part of that 3-piece combination. Now level changing to the body. Jab straight up top. That's nice. And now mixing up the knees, whereas Tech just going for a boxing approach right now. Might need to mix it up, though. There's another right hand that lands.
Yeah, definitely. And Marathoner perk coming for Cyril Gahn, so he's going to have less stamina while he's moving, and that's why you see this big stamina disparity right now between these two fighters. And I'm looking at McGrath, seem like he's taking his time, nice and slow, doesn't want to make any mistakes. Looking at that head movement. Now, that's one thing that Tech might be able to look at if he can scout out, like when McGrath moves his head, throw one of those kicks, maybe attack down low, which what he's doing now, Balian. But man, McGrath in control.
I like that he's leading with that right hook. His Tech, you know, you've got to find something hard. Plus, there's so many slips coming off the center line from McGrath right there, and he keeps getting slipped whenever he's throwing that straight. So we'll see if that lands eventually. But right now, this is flow mode for KIA's McGrath. He's landing his shots. Defensively, he probably feels very comfortable, able to see everything coming. There's that darting straight again that's been working so nicely. And he's commanding this distance so well. Really feels like Tech's having a tough time landing anything. There's a slip, but not able to follow up. Pumps a double jab into the lead hook, but hasn't really got the stamina to keep throwing those kind of combinations, Boxer.
Yeah, definitely not. Even though we always got to respect that power of Francis Ngannou, especially one of those uppercuts, if landed at the right time, definitely can do some damage. But McGrath right now, just really nice head movement there, just ducking the right hand coming out there from Francis Ngannou, and nice body kick there from Cyril Gahn. He is flowing, just like you're saying.
Yeah, and he ducked that hook and landed a rear body, you know, uppercut, which just sunk that body health. I mean, that is the kind of stuff that's going to take that stamina away as well. Leaped in with the lead hook right there. And if I'm Tech, you know, that uppercut might be your best friend. Just try and sit back and land it, because there he is. He's going for it, but gets stuck to the lead hook on the return. This is good work here.
Just really nice head movement, nice head kick there coming out there from McGrath. And what he's doing is he's being unpredictable with these combinations, and that's why he's able to land that body strike, and Tech cannot intercept it with an uppercut, just because, look at there, Balian, nice pull there, return, and look there, here's that body damage paying dividends right now. And man, oh man, Balian, huge knockdown there from McGrath.
Yeah, man. I mean, that was just a lovely performance. Just threw everything he had. Teeps, knees, body shots, all placed perfectly. Tech in that danger zone position where there's not much you can do. You got barely any stamina. You got to go with those head movement counters and try and land something. Get a bit of a breather here at the end of the second round. But this is a round that McGrath has fully taken over.
Ow.
And now just butchering the body boxer.
Yeah, and I mean, we all know the story right now. The body is hurt. So what do you have to do if you're Tech? Maybe you go for a takedown because this is an MMA game. You don't have to stand up. The stand up isn't working for you right now. You can't get touched to the body at all. Showing signs of respect coming out here in the third round, but it may not last long, baby.
Yeah, I really think one of the best things about Ngannou is that you can wrestle with him, and he's really good on top, and he's got really good ground and pound, so you don't have to land a lot. You can kind of stall and hit some side control elbows, maybe a couple of pushes up half guard shots, but I've seen a single shot attempt come out, and now no stamina, barely any body health, so that chin is going to be vulnerable as those hands come down, and I think McGrath is going to look to put him away in this round. Definitely trying to take his time with it, still slipping those shots. Lead uppercut pumping out. Right hand almost breaking through the block, but Tech's just not landing anything. A straight to the body rocks him there. You know it's low. He ducked for the head kick, but hands came up from Tech. Real uppercut is coming up there, but it's just a matter of time, I think, Boxer. There's another one.
Just a matter of time, like you said, Bailey. Any touch to the body here is going to cripple Francis Ngannou. Jumps on Tech for the finish here. Can he get it done? And look at here, like you said, Bailey, and Francis Ngannou is no slouch on the ground himself. At some huge ground and pound. You do not want to be here if you're McGrath. Got a little bit too overzealous, but look at this. Gave up the dominant position here, Bailey, and I wasn't expecting that.
Well, maybe he felt like he needed the finish and wasn't going to get it. Oh, God.
Ooh,
I think he just shit his
out
pants.
there from McGrath, the body shot with the highlight finish there, Bailey, and it was just a matter of time.
Did he just carried him and just sunk a left hook to the liver? I mean, that was nasty as all heck. And yeah, he gave up that full mount position, which kind of seemed a bit silly, unless he really wanted to hunt for that knockout on the feet, because you could have got a fair amount of damage off. You got 3 minutes on the clock. Even if you don't do that much, you can get up with 1 minute left and really go for it. But wasn't able to survive any time at all back on the feet, really. Unfortunate. Honestly, if I'm being honest there, Boxer, I feel like there was a bit of a skill gap in that matchup, perhaps. McGrath, obviously, we talked about how much high-level competition he has had, and you got guys coming into the ESFL from all over the place, especially now it's a team format, right? People are recruiting. You know, this is a great opportunity for people who's never been in the ESFL to get a shot based on the team believing in them. But right there, unfortunately, for Kings, it just wasn't enough there to get the job done.
Yeah, definitely. And make no mistake, Tech going, debut, smart fighter, making it all the way to the third round against an ESFL veteran. Great job, but the day was the night of McGrath, and he showed why he's one of the best fighters.
Yeah, definitely indeed. Also, yeah, shout out to McGrath there for getting the team off to a good start. His Twitch is twitch.tv/Lee McGrath. If you want to go watch him play some UFC online, there you go. And yeah, representing his team well, Killers in Action gets a win, off to a good start. We are now going to jump though to lightweight, where I believe the Killers in Action have the first pick. It's Gavin, it's versus Ned, and it's 1-0 right now for KIA. So yeah, TK need to get another win here to stay in the game. We're going to lightweight though, Boxer.
All right. Now we're in the lightweight division. We talked about this matchup here. Gavin first here he's defeated EK Kratos in week 2. So, he's feeling good coming off a nice successful week 2, but he's fighting no slouch in Ned. But Ned recently just lost to Papa Doc via decision. So you understand just how good you have to be to go to Papa Doc to decision. He also lost to EK Dabik in week 4. So he definitely wants to get a win here, as he's dropped a couple of matches here in the previous weeks. Let's see if he can do it against Gavin. Dustin Poirier against the Conor McGregor pickup. Both of these are meta matches. Should be a nice stand-up battle, but if it does go to the ground, going to have to give that advantage to Dustin Poirier and Ned. Round 1, Bailey, what's going to happen?
Here we go. Yeah, don't forget to make your picks in the chat as well. TKA, KIA, get some coins on the go here. Oh, wheel kick already.
Yeah, Bailey.
Damn, son.
Kick for the Rock.
Oh, and then the pull counter uppercut almost kept him off right there, but non-stop pressure right now coming out immediately. The wheel kick landed beautifully. Nice rock there, and Gavin in a bit of trouble already, but it's the first round against Conor McGregor. It's to be expected, really, when you're playing against a Conor McGregor pick.
Yeah. All right. Now we're seeing it. He came out early and he got that spin kick, but he has to be careful because I'm already seeing it. You can see the story early in the first round with that stamina depleting very quick. Even though he landed that head kick, he has to watch out.
Oh yeah, definitely. Indeed. Ned really putting the pressure on, trying to be patient with that lightweight McGregor, leading with that lead hook. That's nice. Southpaw, the southpaw. Gavin on the back foot here. I wonder if he'll try a level change. Skirting the outside now with some nice lateral movement, but when Ned's jumping in like that with a lead hook, you're very, very vulnerable to a ton of like leg kicks, uppercuts. They'll put you down. So if you can get your opponent rushing in like that, you can take advantage. But Gavin needs a head kick there. Not too much damage. Obviously, Poirier's got tons of recovery and things like that. So you're okay to take some damage early. And now we've seen Ned retreat all the way back to the cage, Boxer.
Yeah, all the way back to the cage. I mean, I'm looking at the stamina. I'm looking at the position. He definitely came out very strong. But after that, it's been all Gavin right here. And with this Dustin Poirier pickup, you talking about a lot of speed, a lot of power here. And look at this body work here that Ned is doing a good job right here trying to fight back.
Yeah, Ned keep putting out the damage right now on the back foot. There's a pull to an elbow that lands beautifully, but I think you are mentioning the stamina, and you should do, because we're just over the halfway point of the first round and he's lost chunks. I saw that 2 to the body there, touch a little bit more of the long-term stamina, and again right there Ned needs to be careful because Gavin is patiently plopping these down. Lead uppercut straight, lovely, and then 2 shots to the body as well to follow up. Lead hook, love it. Non-stop pressure from Gavin, and this is causing some problems for Ned right now. This is looking good for the Kings and Gavin though.
Yeah, definitely. What I'm seeing right now with Ned is he's slowing down, not just because he has to, but I think he definitely has taken a lot of damage right now, and it hadn't been going his way, so he's trying to recalibrate. But right now with Gavin doing a very good job, and like we said, that blocking 95 with Dustin Poirier pickup, so he has a lot of damage that he can take on that block. Nice head movement there by Gavin, seems to be in control.
Yeah, I love the way he's just touching him. Look what he's done to the bloody stamina, Boxer. This is ridiculous. Teams up the middle now as well. Good work by Gavin. I'll tell you what, this is looking good for the Kings. KIA got a win early there, 1-0 right now, but the Kings is Gavin winning this back on the scoreboards, working up top with the lead hooks and the lead hands. What are you going to do right now if you're Ned on this Conor McGregor pick, Boxer?
See, this is the thing. So you have to change your game plan, whatever it is that you're going to do. You can't come out and throw those heavy strikes and then get touched to the body, because that combination is what leads to that stamina depletion, to where you have this big disparity. The best fighters know that. They're not concerned about throwing big bombs early because they can come later. But you got some of the stamina recovered here. Round 2 lands a nice overhand Balian. So we'll see. Maybe he can build off of that.
Yeah, and he does have the other KIA boys in the corner that will have given him some advice in between rounds there, however brief. And he's looking to hold his ground a little more, but he just, hand plant, wheel kick there. I was going to say, it looks like he's holding his ground a little more and trying to re-pressure, not give up so much space as he started to do about halfway through that first round. And then the damage really came from Gavin. So toe-to-toe, you can go and you can, exchange your bloody Conor McGregor. You don't have to float on the outside, but Gavin's putting some damage out right now, has lost a chunk of head health himself. But it's about working that gas tank, that stamina. Level change to a left hand. Lovely job. Now working the body, but misses in all 3, as does the uppercut. But that's lovely work from Gavin throughout this second round here, Boxer.
Yeah, Gavin with a nice takedown fake. Look at these combinations coming out. He's flowing right now with Dustin Poirier with that 96 speed. Changing levels, going down low. And now, whenever you get that head kick blocked, then now look at that stamina depletion, and Gavin can do pretty much anything that he wants to. And I think he's safe. Nice head movement there, returning the straight, and that power of Dustin Poirier. Look at that pull counter with a huge knockdown there, Bailey. And can he finish it right here? Trying to put on the finishing touches, and he gets it done early in the second round. And Bailey, and we seen the same story play out in the first 2 matches with stamina management, Bailey, and leading to a defeat early here for two fighters, Bailey. And it's a great job there by Gavin getting it done.
Man, that was a performance from Gavin, dude. I'm not gonna lie right there, man. That might be performance of the night. Freaking Gavin coming out, repping Ireland, had to take out his countryman there. That's 2-0 for Gavin so far this season. Undefeated and looking real good, representing the Kings right now. Obviously, the Kings are, let's see, what was there, where they are right now? Are they number one? They are number one right now. So great work, obviously, from McGrath to get a win early, despite being the number 8th seeded team here right now in the leaderboard. The number 8, McGrath comes out, gets one win, but that's evened up there from Gavin. It's 1-1. Got a final matchup we're about to bring, but great work by Gavin, great performance, and I think he overthrew a little bit with the Connor pick, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when you come out early and you had that early success, and you know, but it can be dangerous because you may think that, hey, you can continue with that, but you know, that didn't happen. Great job, but man, Gavin putting on a performance, might be the fight of the night, like you said, Bailey.
Yeah, performance for sure. I mean, I loved it. All right, let's settle this. Okay, it's 1-1, number 1 versus number 8 in the standings. The Kings, Killers in action, third and final matchup right here. We've got Cryptic representing the Kings, and KI have sent Jimmy in this evening. So let's go to featherweight. First pick is on Cryptic. Let's see who he locks in.
All right, so with Cryptic, undefeated so far in the ESFL, a very high level, smart fighter, great head movement, a lot of pressure, but he's fighting KIA Jimmy. KIA Jimmy definitely wants to get a win because he lost to K Young Butter in week 2, so he's looking for a win. Now they're in this featherweight division. We already see this Alexander Volkanovski pickup. You can't have any mirror matches. So let's see who Jimmy's going to pick up. And we haven't seen Anthony Pettis in a while here. A lot of spin kicks, very exciting fighter. But whenever you're fighting up against the champion in Alexander Volkanovski, you may have to deal with that ground game of Alexander. Well-rounded fighter, can get it done on the feet, on the ground. Bailey, round 1, what you see?
I mean, honestly, this is a little insane to me here, picking up Anthony Pettis and going ahead with this against like one of the best picks in the oh no. Oh, this isn't good. Yep, right.
Yep,
well,
yep.
There we go. I was going to say, it's an interesting pick, right? Because I don't think we've ever seen a Pettis do particularly well. I mean, maybe someone has pulled off some Pettis-related nonsense in the ESFL, but dude, against Alexander Volkanovski at featherweight, he's one of the best picks in the game.
Yes, in the
ESFL history. He's one of the best competitive picks, and you are 1-on-1, and your team is relying on you, and you're going to take Anthony Pettis.
Now,
this is a risky.
Now, do you think, Bailey, that he's going to reselect Anthony Pettis? Has his team told him, like, hey, what are you doing? Or maybe he has a game plan and he knows what he wants to do and going to re-pick Anthony Pettis again.
He has to, I believe, by the rules of the ESFL.
Okay.
You got.
So, well, let's look a little deeper into this. Anthony Pettis, laser focus, frontal assault, taekwondo, skirmish, nightmare. So he's loaded with perks. I mean,
yeah,
you know, punching power is only a 90. You know, but what is he good at? Switch stance, you know, submission defense if it goes down to the ground. But, you know, just definitely props for picking Anthony Pettis. It's going to be it's going to be exciting to see how it performs here in the ESFL.
Yeah, the ping is a little high as well.
198.
Yeah, man. But yeah, it's nice that you have those stats up, box. It's always nice to have a fresh reminder of it. I mean, dude, like laser focus, frontal assault, and skirmisher. That's a nice combination there. You can hit some linear attacks up the middle on the back foot. But the pressure is going to come from Cryptics, as are the level changes. Now, Anthony Pettis got terrible takedown defense, but he got a good jits off the back. You sit on your back and try and set up a submission in the ESFL at this level. I don't know. You might be able to. It ain't going to be easy. So he's going to need to hit that turning side kick, some front kicks, some knees, and try and catch him with a couple of uppercuts maybe as he level changes.
Interesting. And I'm seeing 3 wins to 1 on the matchup. So maybe he's confident.
Well, one of them just got added right there because they quit.
Exactly.
So we did see that.
Point.
Yeah, let's see it. Okay, so we've got the Kings on the left-hand side in the red corner, taking on Killers in action on the right-hand side in the blue corner. It's 1-1 in a best of 3. This is the final matchup here to see if number 1 stays number 1 on the leaderboard. It all comes down to this.
All comes down to this. And let's see how this Anthony Pettis pickup plays out. Right now, doing a really good job of what I'm seeing, managing that stamina is really early. You want to see these kicks coming out from Anthony Pettis to utilize all of those perks that we said. Fighting really good off the back foot, Bailey, and switching stances, what we've seen so far early. Not sure what the tactic is by switching so many stances, just to give his fighter different looks.
Yeah, it is nice though, because he is landing the teep kick off the rear side, and it coming from a different angle is actually, I think, helping a little bit. But Cryptix is just going to walk forward and can block low, and this isn't going to get him off the cage, and this is exactly where he's found himself. He kind of caught a nice rhythm as Cryptix kept constantly stepping in and walking into things. That's nice, but the adjustments from Cryptix, got a high-level footwork and be able to slide in and out. But that's nice from Jimmy. Good body work, and I do love how he's putting the hands in as well. A nice takedown. Okay.
And that's what we talked about when we looked at those stats. If it didn't work out on the feet, you want to take Anthony Pettis down here to the ground, because I don't care who you are, how many stats you have, you can't take those kicks. Okay, now that you're on the ground, you're in Alexander's world in this matchup right here, and this is exactly where Cryptix wants to be, baby.
Yeah, ate so many elbows, didn't try the sprawl fake to try and mitigate some of that, try to hit that butterfly return there to full guard a couple of times, was denied by the top game of Cryptix, who is very, very good on top, as well as having Volkanovski. It's a dangerous combination, and I do like the tactic from TK. Why not take your opponent down, make it an easier night for you? But the killers in action, they ain't never going to give up. Pettis has some great triangles off his back, as well as some sweeps, building some GA there. One pump fake at the right-hand side, a little more G and P. We'll see if we see an instant transition from Cryptix, or if he's happy to stay here. Instant posture up right there. Didn't build anything for it. There we go. A few more shots down the middle, being real patient with this, but all the get-ups,
he's up.
high-level get-ups. Did you see how much stamina there was? Hardly any difference, but still hitting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, Pettis actually not that bad on the ground with a 91 bottom control, but that was a nice get-up there. He's now on the left side. Some people like that left side advantage, especially when you're in the blue corner. They are dealing with a little bit of pain. Hopefully, it seems like that's going to work itself out. But let's see right now if Jimmy can get back to that body work, which is going to even out these fighters. And there it is right there. We called it, and he's putting in that work, Bailey.
I love it. It went lead hook head, lead hook body, switch stance, ducked out with the uppercut to the side, then hit a perfect switch kick. This is nice work from Jimmy. Like, you're going to play Pettis, you got to mix it up. That's what he's doing nicely. Oh, that will be fine because he can switch stance, but it just shows Cryptix is still being very accurate with the shots he's selecting, because that was just perfect range management to get the rock in that kick, right? So Cryptix pressure, easing into it, did have some top control, but Jimmy has been landing kind of big as well. You're probably going to lean towards Cryptix in round one. But it's kind of hard to tell. It seems fairly even. Jimmy's tactics are working somewhat here, Boxer.
Yeah, very hard, close match to call. I'm not even going to call it. It's so close. I did see some groundwork on the ground, but the strikes was landed by Jimmy that I remember, but he did get a leg rock landed against him. And that's one thing here. He switches stances so you can protect that left leg that's already hurt by Anthony Pettis. Nice kick there. Coming out by Alexander Volkanovski, but he's still taking those shots to the body, baby.
Yeah, and you know, Volk is so good in this game. He got so much recovery and stamina. You can kind of just walk in and be a little tank. Jimmy needs more of that, like not to spam them, obviously, but you do need the high level, high damage moves right now just to mitigate this pressure, give him something else to think about. I love the lead hook work from Jimmy. It's working nicely, but Cryptix kind of getting a read on the offense now, just blocking low, walking forward. This is where those front kicks up the middle might start working out for you. But I love it from Cryptix, though, doing what he needs to do. Outside leg kick lands again, uses the lead hook to keep the distance close there. Four-piece lands.
Right here and there to get a rock. Nice combination there coming out for Cryptix. Even though he's taking a lot of body damage, when you talk about this Alexander Volkanovski pickup, you're talking about a 99 cardio, Bailey, so he can do what he wants to, and he's trying to catch that left leg because it's already damaged. But Bailey, a nice combination there coming out for Cryptix to get the rock here early in the second round.
Yeah, it was a really, really nice four-piece combination. Landed every single shot in it. Finished with a big hook up top. That lead hook busting through right now. I know Pettis has got some fairly decent health stats in this game because, you know, he doesn't go down easy. Rear uppercut lands. Nice work there from Jimmy. He's got to keep finding those shots. And the thing is, he's playing Pettis so he can turn this round with the wheel kicks, with the front kicks, with the high damaging moves, and he's looking for it. That was nicely set up. But Cryptix knows what he needs to do, and he's staying on that pressure. Head kick gets blocked there, tries to lead with double uppercuts to the body. Jimmy having nothing of it. Bailing on a lot of shots as he needs to as well, so he's not overextending, but chops low again to the lead hook. That's been bread and butter for Cryptix. Lead hooks, low kicks, 1, 2, 3, busts through, but gets caught with the liver on the break. That's a bit more of that. It'll be kind of hard to see how it shapes up, but I think Cryptix slowly but surely is figuring out where the danger lies and is landing his shots.
Yeah, exactly. He's doing a good job. And like you said, you want to watch out. You want to use these teep kicks coming out from Anthony Pettis with that 94 power. That's one of his more dangerous strikes, powerful strikes, I should say. But it doesn't seem like he's able to get to that enough, Balian. And Cryptix is in control, and he's still hunting that left leg from Anthony Pettis. And he's doing a good job by landing the damage, because you can see that left leg blinking.
Yeah, Jimmy's got to start moving his head, though, because that block is just getting to a point where it's hard for him to take that 1-2, and that's when that third shot's going to start bleeding through automatically. And trying to get that head movement going just makes him more vulnerable to the leg attacks as well. There it is. That's good. More stuff like that from Jimmy. Ducks out with double hooks to the body as well. That's all good stuff. But really, you know, the power is 90. Those kicks are going to do way more than those punches to the body, so he doesn't need to put himself in vulnerable positions to try and land that stuff. He needs the Hail Mary shiz right now, Boxer. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah, definitely. If this was a 5-round fight, it might play out a little bit better in Jimmy's favor for this specific fight. But he could be down 2 rounds. It could be 1-1. Both of these fighters need to go into this looking like with the understanding that they need to absolutely get this round here. But I like what I'm seeing with Jimmy, but I don't know if he has enough to take out Anthony Pettis right now in the 3rd round.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, take out Volkanovski in the 3rd round.
He's still attacking that liver side, but yeah, I mean, the body damage is what he's done the most of, but finishing someone to the body when their head health isn't really on the same level, I mean, it can be difficult because you start to threaten the head, which opens the body up again, but I feel like Cryptix doesn't really have to worry too much about the head now, blocking that body shot. Right hook lands in place of it. Would be nice to see a few head kicks come out from Jimmy if he can find the time. He's got to put them in there. I feel like that front kick is right there for him. He's not thrown it once, Boxer.
Yeah, exactly. Like you say, when he's coming in, you definitely want to use that front kick, because that's one of the best things. But huge rock there coming out for Cryptix, and let's see if he pushes the pedal to the metal, but he doesn't, Bailey. But look at these nice spin kicks, and that's exactly what you want to land whenever you have Anthony Pettis. But I don't think he's going to be able to do enough of that. And we see a takedown fake there. Not sure what he wants to do there, but I just don't know if it's going to be enough, Bailey.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. Like, the thing is, it's hard to criticize Jimmy because he is landing some really nice combinations of shots.
There.
Cryptic, he's just being so diligent with the pressure. There's a spear takedown there. Have the time to think about it. Nice work. Yeah, 2 minutes 30 left in this round. Obviously, this is KIA's Jimmy here trying to defend these takedowns from the Kings, Cryptix, and obviously the Kings are #1 on the leaderboard right now. Cryptix wants to keep it that way, secure the win for his team tonight. But just before I can even finish making my point, they're back on the feet anyway, so let's see what Jimmy can do. He's gone southpaw. He's not going to be hampered by that lead leg power nerf, although he did just switch. The front kick we've called for. 1, 2, 3 to the body. Perhaps setting up the head kick. Let's see what he's got. Oh, he landed something
right there, Bailey. You never know. You get a 1-2 head kick. It could change the tides, but he didn't put the pedal to the metal like I would think. This is the last minute and 30 seconds. That was your opportunity, and now he finally catches up to that left leg again and returns a rock. Not sure how the judge is going to see it in terms of who did the most damage there, Bailey. But I think, to me, that was Jimmy's opportunity to take advantage to see if he could get a block break knockdown. But he's still point fighting right now.
Yeah, I think he didn't want to overextend and get clipped again, right? Has to be careful, but I understand what you're saying. Of course, he needs to go for it, and now he's been single leg there with a knee tap on the inside, denies the transition, and that's not good. Once here, Cryptix staying heavy on top. Inevitably, probably going to sit here for the next 20 seconds, and you know, Jimmy did get a rock this round, but he has been taken down twice. The first round was close. I think chat would agree with me when I say Cryptix is probably going to pick this win up and take a win home for the Kings. But this is some good performances here tonight from the KIA team. McGrath getting a win for his team initially. And there, Jimmy, you got to give props to that Pettis play. He played him very well. Unfortunately, it is hard to deal with when you're playing against the best players in the world. Having a stat deficit, playing against someone with 99 cardio, the footwork, the power that Volk has, as well as the speed. You've got all the weapons on Pettis. He certainly made a lot of them land, but it's just not enough in the face of a high-level Volkanovski, I feel.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see what the judges think.
3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. All 3 judges scored this contest 30-27.
3 rounds,
all 3.
There you go. So Cryptix picks up the win. The Kings go 2-1 over the Killers in action here at week 6 on the PlayStation side of things. And yeah, that means the Kings sit firmly there, Boxer, at 3-0 on top of our season standing right now.
Wow, they have to be feeling good. I mean, 3-0, that is not easy to do. You went through a lot of wars to get to 3-0, and it's a team effort. Man, they got to be feeling good about that performance. Being undefeated.
And I really like how we saw number 1 versus number 8 right there, and it was still competitive. A lot of parts of there was maybe that first matchup was a little not so, but it was the losing team that were most competitive in that first matchup. So it goes to show it's fairly even. Nice to see that across the board. And great performances there from everybody. Good fights to get us started tonight in week 6. I've just been told some interesting news here in my ear about someone perhaps not arriving. So Pressure apparently is not here. Now, is that a forfeit for their team? Are they're losing a point? Okay, so Crooks there representing Team Dark was supposed to be taking on Pressure. Pressure not here, so Team Dark get 1 point. So there we go. Team Dark up 1 point. This is now match 2 tonight here, guys. So we have Team Dark versus the Showtime Killers. This is number 2. Team Dark also 2-0 right now. So they have an opportunity to go 3-0, draw with the Kings, stay at the top of that leaderboard in that second place, join first place. Let's say realistically they are on the same score. So Papadoc versus Yequis, already up 1. This is a tough ask for Yequis, making his ESFL debut against Papadoc, Boxer.
Okay, now this is when you sit up in your seats because you're getting ready to see the best of the best getting ready to come up here in this dark matchup here. Papadoc, what we're talking about in this season, wins over Ned and Proxer this season. Longtime veteran in the ESFL, great champion, a veteran, one of the best fighters that we have in ESFL history. It's Papadoc that we're talking about. And this is one tall order if you're Yequis making his ESFL debut. But if you are Yequis and you want to make a name for yourself, this is your stage to do it. And that's exactly what we're going to be able to see right now, what Yequis is all about. If he's here, he deserved to be here, and we're going to see his skills and how they play out against Papadoc. Okay, now we're looking at this bantamweight division. We don't know who they're going to pick up right now. It's looking like they may take this Aljamain Sterling pickup, and we know what Aljo can definitely get it done on the ground. No slouch on the feet. It seems like that would be a great pickup for Papadoc. We'll see who they lock in. Not sure which way they go, but if you go with Aljamain Sterling, if it goes to the ground with Papadoc, you may not get back up. So let's see what the pickup is. It seemed like he's going to go with the meta pickup, Balian, with the Piotr Jan pickup, and nobody ended up getting Aljo. So this is going to be Piotr Jan against Sean. Let me make sure I say this right because I always get in trouble. O'Malley.
Yeah, that's it. Perfect. That's perfect.
They got on me so much, babe. I had to make a middle note to get that right. So,
you did it.
Round 1, Bailey, and take it away.
Apparently, Pressure had Thanksgiving and didn't tell anybody. So there we go. I don't even know when Thanksgiving is. I'm assuming it was this weekend. I love the O'Malley pick. It's in November apparently, so that doesn't make any sense. All right, here we go. So in the red corner, Team Dark, they're already up 1-0 because of a forfeit. So Yequis fighting out of Despit, making his debut. But dude, like you said, he has the opportunity to shock the world. And I love the O'Malley pick because I think he's actually a good counter pick to Yan in this game, as long as you can play it right and stop the pressure coming forward. But look at Papadoc just standing in front of Yequis. There we go. He steps out of range sensibly. But let's see if we can get some kicks to the body going. Slow it down.
Nice combination, Bailey.
I love it.
Ate a head kick, though. And now with Papadoc using Piotr Yan, this is going to be dangerous because it's really just no chink in this man's armor. 95 pluses across the board in all categories. But this is very interesting because Yequis came out and landed a nice knee to the head of Papadoc. You never know how that's going to play out. And look at him, stamina. But what these are some very sly, slick combinations coming out of nowhere from Yequis, and this is very fluent, Bailey. I like what I'm seeing early.
I like it, man. I mean, he knows all the Sean O'Malley combinations. Let me tell you that. He's missing. He's throwing like spinning back fists off of simple combos. And you mentioned that knee early. I mean, that might have been enough to just get rid of that force of nature perk right off the back. And also look at this. Oh, that was well timed. Oh my God, what a head kick. There's an uppercut on the break as well. You can only imagine Yequis is in a hell of a lot of trouble with his head health right now, but jabs his way out. I like the composure, stays calm, switch back to southpaw, trying to land that left hand. Oh, but it's the kicks in close like that that will get him in trouble. And here's Papadoc again, just with the pressure that you get from the Yan pick. He did get first pick here, went with Yan. Now trying to block break his way through. But yeah, with O'Malley, you got a lot of power and a lot of technique. So Yequis is only one flashy move from swinging his way back into the fight. Definitely got a clip there. There's a well-timed head kick, though.
Yeah, and I'm seeing Yequis, if he can stay more so in the center of the cage, he has very great defense. And look at it, really, he does it. And what combinations that I really haven't seen too much. These combinations that he's throwing out by Sean O'Malley, Bailey. And this is this stuff that almost slipped out.
Oh, yeah, man. I love it. Well, I just said he's only one flashing thing away. And he gets another rock right there. Rear uppercut lead hook. He's thrown that twice now. Read that time by Papadoc on the assault. There's a single leg, but he denies that. That's going to take a chunk of stamina away. Nice work from Yequis, staying composed. And you know what? Like, obviously, it's hard to tell what the hell is coming at you when you're fighting someone who could throw a 1-2 and then a wheel kick or a front kick into a spinning back fist. And there is another one. Papadoc going to stay a bit more defensively sound, I think, but he's lost some chunks of stamina as well. So I am loving this fight. And Yequis here coming out. ESFL debut, by the way, against Papadoc, one of the most veteran players in the player base. Not yet lost this season. May have just taken the first round off in Boxer.
Yeah, definitely respect, because even though I think Papadoc is in a better position to win this fight, he may have lost the first round, if that makes any sense, right? Because I like maybe I don't, because we don't know where his stamina is at. We don't know where Yequis' stamina is at, but to throw those techniques, I would think it costs some stamina. But let's see what happens, Bailey, in round two. This is getting interesting.
Yeah, the IQ is high on Yequis as well right there. It's like, okay, I'm getting double jab block breaking. Okay, I'll just chain a side kick into a turning side kick, and it's just lovely work, good placement, and stops him. He's got to do it again now, though, because he's getting pressured one more time. But that long jab, he's making it work. Loves the check hook as well. All good weapon choice from Yequis. Papadoc stepping in nicely, though. Goes for the clinch and the ankle pick. No, he doesn't get it.
Yeah, damn. That's what's one, because Papadoc has that ground game in his tool bag. And look at there, you can't take those spinning roundhouse back kicks. I mean, that's going to pay dividends on your body. And it seems like Papadoc kind of wants this to the ground right now. I've seen him go for a couple of takedowns. He's clinching up, which means that he may not be as comfortable on his feet. And I like these side steps that Papadoc is doing. But let's see how this plays out.
I hope this real fight is as good as this, honestly, because it's so... Yequis is the name? Okay. I hope this actual fight at 280 is this good, because it's such a fun matchup. But there we go. Oh, the left hand from Yequis. Another one. Doubles up on it. Has the gas tank to keep firing. The block is all gone right there from Papadoc. He's preemptively ducking. No spinning back fist on the end of that front kick. But you know he's looking to set it up. And there's a turning side kick. And the worst place you could be is on your back foot. Yequis drops him down with a straight left. Going to follow up against the cage with a ground pound. Not going to be enough to put him away. But holy mackerel, he has just dropped Papadoc in his ESFL debut with possibly one of the best picks in the game here.
Wow. I mean, I'm almost speechless here and just want to watch this masterpiece. Now we've seen Papa Doc in this situation time after time. And what I'm thinking is Papa Doc is going to be ready to take this fight to the ground. And so what I'm seeing here, when Yaquis is in the center of the octagon, he does amazing work. He doesn't want to get to his back to the cage, because see, now this is when you're in Papa Doc's wheelhouse, so to speak. But wow, I think Papa Doc is in trouble. Whenever you have a knockdown, a couple of rocks, Balian, it's hard to come back from that.
I love how much Yaquis is mixing this up as well. You're just never quite sure if it's going to be a turning side kick, a front kick there. He flicks up a front kick into a head kick. It's just good work. I still feel Papa Doc is in this. He's only a slip and rip away from just devastating a combination. That sidestep off to the outside is really helping him as well. But Yaquis looks to be buying his time here. You can see the animation for the block being broken as the hands come up a little bit higher there to cover the head. So he's definitely taken some damage. Obviously, we can't tell. The sneaky head kick that caught him in round one fired up there. Didn't land. There's a nice two, though, that just interrupts. And if that uppercut landed, we might have seen him put his bum on the ground again there. But that, oh, there's the block break. You knew it was coming. And this could be it. This could be it right now. I think it is. There we go.
Yo, man, we've seen it time after time, Balian. We've seen Papa Doc face so much adversity, and it's something different about this player. No matter what he faces, able to overcome it. But what can we say about Yaquis coming out in the ESFL debut and just taking Papa Doc all the way to the brink?
Oh, man, I mean, I was very, very impressed, first of all, with the Sean O'Malley pick, number one. See, your team has won one. Oh, you're already down 1-0, I should say. And you're going to come out with that. He's clearly played him a lot, though, knows all the moves, made it work for him, landed multiple stuff. I mean, realistically, he was landing a lot more than you know, Doc was. But at the same time, Doc is, I mean, obviously, Yaquis is 99 in purple, whatever, so he's the max rank you can be. He's obviously played this game in and out, understands how much damage you can take, how much you can't. But the whole fight, Papa Doc was chipping away at the block, double jabbing the block, landing enough damage to keep himself in the fight, despite getting constantly rocked. And to be honest, when you're playing O'Malley in a matchup like that, that's how you have to fight. That's how you have to get your rocks. You have to get your spinning kicks, your front kicks, your big high damage moves when you can, because you can't go toe-to-toe and get your boxing going. Papa Doc obviously knew that, kept beating up the block. 1-2 head kick to finish. I mean, it's upsetting that, you know, Yaquis couldn't get the timing on it or get a duck going. And it was a bit of a block break to get the finishing sequence, but that's obviously how you play Peter Yan. You move forward, you attack the block, and you just beat your opponent down methodically. So, yeah, obviously, Yaquis, fantastic performance. Well done, mate. Yeah, super impressive for your debut. Unfortunately, though, it comes back to almost the Pettis-Volkanovski situation. You have taken a pick that has some disadvantages compared to some of the elites of the division, and they kind of showed through right there. So,
wow, yeah, Bailey, yeah, you said it. No more to say on that, but great performance by both of those guys. I'm going back to watch that because I want those Sean O'Malley combinations. I have to have them, and I'm going back to watch that.
Yeah, we always learn. We learn something every week, don't we?
Every week.
It's like, I think it was the front kick into the spinning back fist. Never seen that before. Didn't even know about that. That's
yeah, I didn't know about it either.
All right, so it's 2-0 then, technically, to Dark this evening. Team Dark. Crook's got a free pass because Pressure didn't make it to fight, so that was 1-0, and then we just see it right there. Papa Doc does get it done for the team, so Team Dark have won this matchup technically. It's 2-0, but we, as always, during the season, we play the best of 3 game anyway, especially when you guys get to watch some Romero 17, the return of the ESFL Live champion, first time this season, matched up at women's bantamweight, and yeah, let's jump to the fight.
Okay, now, like we said, this is the time when you want to sit up in your seats because we just saw Papa Doc, but now getting ready to see the leader Dark here with Romero, fellow game changer, and like you said, Balian, champion of the ESFL Live event in Vegas. And this guy is one of the most cerebral fighters that we have in the in UFC 4, period, hands down. The best of the best, can't say enough. Resume speaks for itself, but he's fighting no slouch in MMA genius. He defeated MMA Mezzarine in week 2, but he lost to Ozzy Kid. So he wants to redeem himself here, but he has a tall task ahead of him in a guy that almost makes no mistakes in Romero, 17 here with this Valentina Shevchenko pickup. Has to respect the power of Amanda Nunes. Going for a takedown early in Bailey in round 1. What do you see?
Well, I mean, DeBronk's got his work cut out for him, but we'll see how he deals with it. I like the Nunes pick. You know, you can go toe-to-toe. That's some great pressure. Oh, he's dropped him already with an uppercut against the cage. Just walked through him there, taking advantage of all the damage you get on that break from the clinch. Well, Romero's getting some shots already. Nice and early. Gets away with the overhand. Oh, my God. What a fight already.
I mean, when you got Amanda Nunes, Bailey, you might as well go for it, especially early, because you know your opponent has to weather the storm of that power coming out from Amanda Nunes. All of the speed, all of the power, you have to respect it, and we see why. But if there's someone to get a nice takedown there from MMA genius Duke Bronx there, but if it's someone to face this adversity and come and overcome it, it's going to be Romero. Let's see how a champion takes this adversity and gets out of this situation.
Yeah, on the back as well. We know Dubronx is a very good grappler, but so is Romero. I mean, this guy's ridiculous on the ground. Okay, he's fear for your life at all times of submissions because he will set them up. I'm surprised if the armbar's not coming out here. Oh, I believe that was more of a triangle attempt. Either way, dangerous stuff. Already trying to shoot those hips from the bottom. Gets the lovely scramble up top. Gets the single into the double up, and there we go. Top position for Romero. 2.5 minutes to work, but wants to back on the feet.
Ooh, okay. Wants to get up. Might make a statement here, Bailey. But all right. But now that you're up, let's see if you're gonna be able to take advantage of that. And look, you don't see that. You don't see Romero get taken down too often here. So Bronx here wants this fight on the ground, Bailey. What do you think that Dubronx is seeing to want this fight on the ground?
Well, I think Dubronx is just a grappler, you know, by trade, and that's, I think, definitely something he's looked to bring to the table tonight. Also, it's going to keep Romero guessing, isn't it? And that was a lovely double leg. Like you said, we don't see Romero get taken down very often. I think it was more of the surprise of the takedown attempt. There is an over-the-top. Oh, backside sit out. Nice work right there as well to mix up the escapes and the, you know, the reversals that you're going for, because your opponent's obviously going to read them. But back to the feet, where DeBronx apparently doesn't want to be. So much pressure from DeBronx, though, just constantly walking forward into Romero. And when you've got the power of Nunes, you can just kind of crash into your opponents and just make them deal with your power by throwing out the shots, as long as you're touching something. A block. Oh, an elbow drop. Oh, my God. The ground and pound for the finish.
Oh, alien. That's all it takes. Oh, my goodness. Like, and that's what we talked about. You know, when they face this adversity, and that's what I called it. I want to see how a champion is going to deal with that adversity and overcome it. Whenever Dubronx would take down Romero, to me, I dare I say, easily was able to get back to his feet. And now that's one thing with the best players. When you make that one mistake and you whiff, they have the combinations already queued up in place, deal the most damage to end the fight, and it's over with, Bailey. Almost one mistake, it's a wrap.
Yeah, I think it was the combination of, I had just mentioned how much he was pushing forward, you know, on every strike. So it wasn't just the stationary knee, it was that I'm going to step forward and throw the knee, which is super vulnerable, and it didn't look like it, but Romero did slip and then throw the elbow. So you've got the elbow off the slip shot and then the lead hook to follow up, and he had a lot of head health when he hit the ground. It was kind of surprising that the TKO happened, but Romero just able to land the shots necessary. So unfortunately there, 3-0, a clean sweep for Dark tonight. And number 1 gets a win tonight in the leaderboards, and number 2 gets a win. So that's it. Dark and the TK, the Kings, still neck and neck, first and second place.
Wow. I mean, that was fast. That was, you know, it was kind of expected, but man, that just a great performance there by Romero. Dark gets that win. Like you said, and they move up? Alien, did you just say they moved up?
I've just been corrected, by the way. It was a sidestep, not a slip. There we go. A sidestep from the knee and the elbow. Thank you very much for that. So do they move up? What do you mean? It's their joint first place, you know?
Okay.
Can we show the standings? I know they haven't been updated yet, but if we just show people at home, just so they know. Yeah, show me this. There we go. So the Kings, number one, they are now 3-0. Dark, second place, they are now also 3-0 right there as well. So you have Killers in action, Showtime Killers. They don't really move. They stay at 0-3 now. They will get to match up for the rest of the season. This is not even the halfway point, I believe, because week 8 would be the halfway point, I think. So they've still plenty of time to play through. And also, the top 4 people will qualify at the end of the season to go into the playoffs and play for the championship. So you don't have to be number 1 or number 2. You just got to be inside that top 4. So it's still all to play for tonight. Well, this season. I say tonight, you know. Apparently, Dark is going to move to first place, though, because they got a 3-0 sweep. So, yeah, apparently, according to our rules, if you sweep, you get moved up. So it will no longer be... this is why we play the third matchup, basically, as well, because rather than going 2-0, you can go 3-0, and then you'll get priority in these kind of situations. Anyway, but there we go. So Dark, officially first place, currently on the leaderboard after that 3-0 sweep. Good stuff. Right, let's move to the next matchup. I believe it is number 4 versus number 6. So No Mercy taking on B3, the Bang Bangs Bullies. Let's take a look at the matchup here between them. So tonight, No Mercy sending in Stoyan, Smudger, and Kyle. And they will be taking on Trials, Spartan, and 3-Piece. Great lineup this evening. Stoyan making his debut here tonight. Spartan also debuting this season along with Kyle. So a bunch of guys coming in tonight for the first time, despite it being week 6. So we're seeing some shuffling of the rosters. But let's go to the first matchup. Looks like No Mercy won the coin toss. B3 are choosing the weight class. So Stoyan will take first pick against Trials here. Red corner for No Mercy tonight. B3 in the blue corner.
Okay, like you said, okay, Stoyan is an ESFL veteran. We've seen him before. Very aggressive fighter. Also, really good on the ground. Great grappler. All right, but he's fighting B3 Trials. Amazing combinations that we've seen from Trials. Really good footwork here. Now, what we're seeing right now, they had this Robert Whitaker pickup versus Robbie Lawler. We don't really see Robbie Lawler that much in the ESFL, and we've been seeing this trend throughout this tonight's matchups. We've been seeing kind of like the non-meta pickups, which I like to see, because if you're fighting Robert Whitaker, I mean, Robert Whitaker is the meta pickup for this division. And let's see if you can use Robbie Lawler and all of that power that he has. It was only a 93 power, 94 punches speed, but they're getting right to it early in round 1, Bailey.
And yeah, we got Ruthless Rob against Reaper Rob. I like it here. Robbie Lawler is an amazing pick in this game, okay? Especially at 185, where things are a little bit slower, because you have the recovery and you have just like the constant attrition damage that you just pop over and over for the course of a fight. You just turn it into a grind fest. By round 3, you can look for the finish. It's not about the power, it's about that straight left and how many times you can land it. I love the action so far, though. Trials pushing forward, working the body with a rear uppercut. Stoyan there trying to stay light on the back foot. I really think Robbie Lawler is a great counter pick to Robert Whitaker here, because you can just absorb and you can outbox and stay in the pocket and try and hang, and you've got recovery to compete with the recovery. But that being said, you are a bit faster. You do have more footwork on the Robert Whitaker pick. Also, you can kick, so he should definitely be trying to set up some head kicks, blast the body. But he's going toe-to-toe right now with Trials, who is landing this double jab and the left hand quite a few times.
Okay, yeah, both guys are coming out and doing some damage here. And I like this matchup right here. Like you said, a lot of stamina there coming out, especially if you go to the third round with Lawler against the Reaper here. Man, nice uppercut there coming out from Ruthless Robbie Lawler. And man, Stoyan has to be careful, because he can't continue to take this and take those shots to the body. I see he's doing some work down low, changing levels. Man, both guys landing and doing damage to each other, Bailey.
Yeah, and Stoyan not afraid to double jab inside the pocket and then stay there and just bang these hooks, which may or may not work out for him. It's really about the individual players in that situation, because you got power and Rob, you can land clean. Oh, those won't be super damaging, but it's more that, you know, the body work is coming out. Going to drop the hands, maybe give Trials some opportunities to get work up top as well. Really, with Robbie, it's about that number 2. You want to get that straight left in there as much as you can. Nice way to follow up from the slip of the head movement, work the body down the bottom. And the recovery stat on Robbie Lawler as well is one of his greatest weapons, just because you can take damage and ride it through all 3 rounds here. So let's see how Stoyan deals with that. Lead hook up top, down to the body. Nice work. Rear uppercut though lands. That's a nice stick now. Level traded with the 2 off the jab. That's good work as well. But another 2 lands. And a nice lead body shot from Trials. Both men definitely taking a hell of a lot of damage, considering it's the first round there, Boxer.
Yeah, exactly. And to see the thing that Robbie Lawler with the huge left hand there, Bailey gets the rock here early at the end of the first round here, and that might tip the sides to get the round 2 Trials. But like you were saying, Bailey, one thing that Robbie Lawler has is that carve the wood perk. So he actually incoming damage is less effective when you have less health than your opponent. You know, so and that's the thing about Robbie Lawler. He's like a comeback kid in this game.
Oh man. Yeah, I mean, that was a lot of damage landed by both men early. 24 to 22 significant strikes. Obviously, the nod will probably go the way of the Lawler pick. Honestly, Trials smashing that Lawler pick and doing well in that first round. So, yeah, I don't know if you're Stoyan, you might want to get on your bike a little bit. Try and stay out of the pocket and out of hook range. At the very least, I say that he stands toe-to-toe and eats a ton of punishment in the opening seconds right there from Trials. I think Stoyan thinks he can try and power his way through, but he's getting touched by everything in the playbook right now. And the stamina management is so good from Trials as well, really not overexerting himself or putting himself in danger. There's another left hand that lands with the lead uppercut as well. 2 to the body and the lovely liver shot. This is great work right here from Trials.
Yeah, I definitely like the combinations that I'm seeing from Trials, because if he does get into any type of trouble, that's where Robbie Lawler perks come up. Right now, Stoyan has to find a way to get more damage in and be more effective with his defense, because right now Trials is throwing it in, just like we said. Nice right hand there coming out from the Reaper, but you got to be careful, because this is when Robbie Lawler is at his most dangerous, especially with that wake up call perk. And look at there, got another rock there from Trials. This is just going back and forth at this point, Bailey. I'm not sure who's taking advantage, but man, Trials is landing what he wants to when he wants to, Bailey.
Yeah, great head movement as well. There's another 2 that lands. We talked about it all night. We're uppercut into the lead hook as well, and then more pressure with this left hand that's landed over and over again from Stoyan. Cannot get away from it. Lands his own rock, though.
His rock of his own.
And it will not take much at all to swing this back, especially you can put those head kicks on the end. Spinning back fist almost lands, but here comes Trials, walking him down the slip straight. Lands. Uppercut comes off the block. He's trying to level change his way out. He's dropped him now. Oh, God.
Stoyan jumps on top, Bailey, and can he finish it? But he wants to keep this thing on the feet and keep this thing entertaining. Back and forth, rock after rock. I don't think it's going to go out of the second round here, Bailey. And I'm not sure who's up. Both fighters' head is hurt extremely, but you got to watch out, because Trials is very dangerous. He recovers from stuns and knockdowns more quickly with that wake-up call perk, and he just got knocked down. Let's see if he can recover from this one, Bailey. And he does. And man, Bailey, what a sequence there.
Yeah, Trials has to remember to up kick when he goes down now, because every time he's getting diving punched. Let's see if he does. But yeah, great work from Stoyan. Started to walk forward, slips the front kick. The straight left lands again. Double body shots.
Oh my
more
goodness,
work down low. He's trying to count that uppercut.
Back and forth. Another roundhouse there for the knockdown from Trials. This is going back and forth, and now it's finally to the ground. And let's see if Trials is going to stay on top to try to win this round, steal it from the judges here to say, hey, you know, this is where I got this control also, along with these rocks and these knockdowns, Bailey. And this is, wow, back and forth. Could be fight of the night so far.
Yeah, bumping himself back to half guard. We will see a third round. It has been back and forth. The thing is, it looks like Trials is walking away with it, but when you've got Robert Whittaker, it takes a 3-piece combination. You can swing it straight back. We saw it there in that round with Stoyan. He's landing that right hand when he needs to. This is a nice matchup, though, because it's still 0-0. This is the first team matchup here between these two, and this is for third place on the leaderboard, which is kind of a big deal, because again, you qualified, and Trials wants to take it home for the team. Took again, followed up with a 1-2. There's the overhand, breaks the board. That's going to be it, Boxer. Oh, no, it's not. He slipped it. He's fine.
Wow, so it's a 95 cardio. He's
gonna throw back.
Whittaker, but he's too hurt, Bailey. Anything to the head right now is going to knock Robert down.
There we go.
And that's it, Bailey. Wow, with this Robbie Lawler pickup, like you said, I remember now, this Robbie Lawler pickup is really good, especially for all of the recovery. Like you said, 96 on the recovery for the health. for Robbie Lawler. And then whenever you do hurt him, that's when the perks kick in, Bailey. And so that, man, this is, like you said, a nice counter pickup for that Robert Whitaker pickup. And we see it pay in dividends here for Trials getting the win over Stoyan.
Yeah, at a certain point, I mean, everyone's obviously got their own opinions, and I haven't done all the research, but I do feel like recovery is one of the best stats in the game, just because, especially at the highest level, you're going to land on each other. Like, everybody's got power, everyone's got speed, everyone's going to land shots, you're going to take damage. It's like super hard to have a competitive fight, you know, especially in an esports league, and not take shots. You're going to take shots, but if you've got a fighter who is going to regenerate better than the opponent, 100% you want to play into that. And not saying he did there necessarily, it just happened obviously to be in his favor. It was a close matchup anyway. But Robbie Lawler, I think, is a great pick there. I mean, the best thing to do against Robbie Lawler is really wrestle him and put him on his back. Definitely. And don't make it a standout, drag him down war, because that's really hard to win against a Robbie Lawler player. Sometimes you can play around the striking, the boxing of a Robbie Lawler, but Trials did a really good job using that liver kick. That liver kick was a super duper weapon in that fight as well. He brought the kicks in so he could fight at range when he needed to, and he landed a bunch of them. So it made it a really, really tough fight. Trials did fantastically with the Lawler pick. Stoyan definitely landed a bunch of shots, had a great comeback in that second round, really put it on him. But ultimately got stuck in this position of having to shell and moving backwards, wasn't able to return fire and give a reason for the pressure to stop, and that's what got him the win. So great performance by Trials. He gets one in the bag for B3, and let's go straight to the next matchup. We've got Smudger and Sean. Let's go. 1-0 so far for B3.
Okay. Now we're looking at a fight in the lightweight division versus Smudger versus Spartan. Okay, coming out of England, Smudger, he beat Kales in week 2, lost the GOAT though in week 4, so he's looking to redeem himself. Okay, B3 Spartan, a lot of experience, great stand up here. As you see, he has that 99, so he knows what he's doing. You have to be careful, especially with this Conor McGregor pickup. But with that champion, with Charles Oliveira, can do everything. Great stand up. Probably, I think, recently got a buff on the ground, so you definitely have to watch out. A lot of top control, a lot of bottom control, and we can't forget the 100 stat in submissions from Charles Oliveira. So if you get down there, you definitely don't, you want to watch out, especially with this Conor McGregor pickup. Round 1, Bailey, take it away.
Yeah, man, there's lots of support coming out for both guys in the chat here. You like to see it. Spartan in the blue gloves, representing B3 in the blue corner for this one. So Smudger, again, no mercy. In the red, no mercy, down 0-1 right now. So let's see what Smudger can do with this Oliveira pick, who we've seen actually sort of enter the meta very quietly. And we've almost seen Conor leave the meta a little bit here as well. Depends on the player and how well you can execute your game plan. But let's see if Smudger mixes a few things up. I know he's very high level, well respected. Bails on the double leg, tries to hit a pull guard, possible sweep, but look at the game knowledge from Spartan.
That's a tough one to pull off, Bailey, because you remember it's a 30% threshold before you can pull that off, before you can go in and cancel a takedown and then pull that. So yeah, wasn't able to get in there, but doing a lot of damage there on the feet. We talked about Charles having great stand-up, 94 power, so you got to respect it. But we see he wants this fight on the ground, baby.
I mean, he's doing really well on the feet. This is an interesting matchup because Conor McGregor's range, where he's most effective with the striking, was a little bit outside of normal boxing range because it's a bit long, but that's almost exactly the same as Charles Oliveira's. And the way to beat a good Oliveira player, you crowd him, get inside, try and avoid the knees. But it's almost like where Spartan is most effective with Conor is the same place that you can return fire with Charles Oliveira, and it's almost like an optimal range. And he did a good job showcasing that right there, getting the hands going, but great takedown in top position, like you mentioned, where he wants to be. There's the full mount transition, denies the half guard. This is looking bad. Mounted triangle, goes for the posture up instead, raining down some good ground and pound, and this is adding up, but there's a good slip. Buys him some time.
I think he's softening him up, Bailey, and because what we're looking at here is 100 stat, and then just like we called it, 100 stat for Charles Oliveira versus only 90 submission defense, and that's exactly what he's looking for. I'm surprised that, he got out of that, but we know it'll be some more submissions coming.
I said game over. It was like a double deny on a McGregor with Oliveira, but
I thought
defense on display right there, and he gets the bloody sweep. So there we go, not out of the woods by any stretch. Spartan hanging in there. 0-0 so far this season. First time we're seeing him. Gets the half guard pass, posture up. Nice work. Not afraid to hang on top here, which honestly I always think is a great strategy against a grappler, because if someone is just looking to take you down, the best thing you can do is get top position and then stay there. If you get up, you're going to get taken down again. So you have to be able to take top position and keep battling. Does get swept though. That is obviously the danger. 30 seconds left though. We'll see how much damage is done. I think this first round has already gone by way of Smudger, but we'll have to see, Boxer.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. So now when Smudger is on the ground, not only does he want to do this damage, but man, he definitely was looking for that submission. And like you said, Bailey, and that's very interesting if you want to stay on top safe, but whenever you're fighting Charles Oliveira, even from the ground, he can throw up those submissions. So Spartan would still have to be careful, because that 100 stat coming out by Charles Oliveira can end your night at any given point, but he was successful in staying alive there. Let's see what happens in round 2. If Smudger's going to be able to get this fight to the ground, but Smudger's having a lot of success on the feet also, baby.
Yeah, let's see. Smudger Spartan touching him up right here. It is 1-0 right now for the blue corner in this best of 3 team matchup. So let's see if Spartan can keep that going, stay on top. Did have a bit of a tough first round, and again there, exchanging, taking the full brunt of that 1-2 from Smudger. He's landing it, being accurate outside leg kicks as well now, forcing him on the inside. Let's see if he gets that trip from the clinch. Doesn't, just one nice little uppercut. I'm loving the shot selection.
Strikes there coming out from Smudger.
Oh, not afraid to bang it out here inside the pocket. Gets under that left hand, no follow-up. But the 1-2 almost every time. I'm wondering if Spartan's trying to slip or something, because he is just eating that 1-2 rather than blocking it.
Yeah, he's probably trying to move that head. Good call, and not doing it fast enough, and then getting hit by that second strike. Nice sidestep there coming out from Smudger. And look, going to this cancel, but I don't think he had enough stamina disparity to pull that off. But definitely showing his knowledge here on the ground. I mean, even though stand up into takedowns, because you don't see a lot of people trying to do the takedown cancel into one of the special takedowns.
Yeah, I remember the old takedown denial meta game that we had for a little while here in the ESFL. It was very, very fun. Very fun to watch that. That was great. Another clinch and another hip toss. I love it. He's pulling them out. He's doing it from stationary, not chasing him down, looking for it. It's a great way to counter pressure boxer. Go for the clinch. They're trying to take the inside. You take the clinch. Good work, especially when you've got the advantage here. Now in this sprawl position, going to beat the body up. And that's a lovely position. I love that he's gone to this, because I love this position, boxer. I'm liking all the choices Smudger is making tonight. Let's see. He's not going to pull half guard, so the get up, and he got it. That was
wow. I would expect that one to get denied, but yeah, especially, right. Yeah, you can't, it's nothing you can do in that position. He went for the backpack there and got denied. So great job from Spartan, to get this thing back standing with a strong Smudger on your back. Minute 20 seconds to go in the second round. Both of these guys going toe-to-toe now. There, a huge rock there coming out from Smudger. And let's see what he's going to elect to do, Bailey. But, man, they definitely needed that here in the second round.
Good work there by Spartan. Stops the pressure right there. Got a couple of slips off the center line with that straight left, and that's all he needed. Full recovery there on Smudger. There's another little quick straight left. Definitely not out of it yet, but getting tagged, getting the block beaten on. More head movement counters, I think, are going to be needed for Spartan going into this third and final round between the two. And if Smudger can't win this, that's B3, taking it 2-0, and this is for third place, boxer, so they'll love that. Little, knee meets the level change there.
Yeah, you got to be careful, because those can knock you out whenever you take a knee to the head on a takedown attempt, and it's exactly seeming like that's what it was, or a knee on a duck. Either way, if you take a knee to the head while you're ducking or in the takedown, that's going to have a lot of effect going forward in this fight. Third round, not sure who's up. I think I'm going to have to give the advantage to Smudger. Spartan has had some success But right now, it seems like Smudger is in control.
Yep, indeedy. All right, here we go. Third and final round between these two. Smudger needs a win here to keep his team in the game. Red corner again for No Mercy. We're down 0-1. B3 cheering on. Spartan inevitably played a good game so far with Connor, but Smudger has been on form tonight. There, now slipping the clinch attempt. Spinning elbow.
Oh.
Doesn't land. He eats an uppercut for his troubles there as well. Nice timing. And that uppercut has been a good weapon for Spartan. I think he should keep throwing it, especially with all the level changes we're seeing from Smudger. Oh, dear.
Exactly, but then coming back, Smudger, a nice rock of his own and gets the takedown. So now, can we see if he can take advantage of that top control that Charles Oliveira has over Conor McGregor and keep this fight to the ground? Because when it gets standing, it's almost a 50-50, and that's not where you want to be. But now, Balian, he's where he wants to be in this full mount position. Let's see if he can posture up, land some ground and pound like he's doing, and then go for a submission and get the victory.
Yeah, I mean, like, the fact that he's clinching and getting takedowns from the clinch, it might not seem like the correct way to do it, or some people might call it a slightly cheesy way to do it. Is he going to get this finisher? But the reality is, that's how Oliveira fights. He gets all his takedowns from the clinch, and he is statted that way in this game. So it's actually what you want to be doing with Charles Oliveira, is getting takedowns from the clinch, not necessarily shooting doubles and single legs out in the open. So that's just good recognition of the stats for Oliveira. And now riding this backside, putting him back to side control, doing what he wants here. 2.5 minutes to ride this fight out, possibly on top, but I'm sure he'll be looking for a finish, perhaps camping a denial here. The back mount is denied. Let's see if another submission comes out. Already went for that arm bar as well, defended by Spartan. Gets the post drop off the punch, and more ground and pound from the top, but every time he hits that straight, it does get a slip boxer.
Yeah, he has to be careful of that, but every time that he postures up from that full mount position, or even this half guard position, he's able to land and rain down some huge damage, and especially if he's able to get this transition block. Got swept. That's one of the more longer animations to block, but still, now you have to be careful because you never know what's coming out from the bottom of this submission wizard in Charles Oliveira. He can go for the triangle at any time. Now in the rubber guard here, could elect to go straight Balian back to full to full mount, but man, they're back in full guard, baby.
Yeah, a couple of denies coming out there from Smudger, not able to set any submission attempts up. He did get one big double deny and then went immediately to I'm going to guess it was a triangle attempt, but Spartan just denied it. So it would have been nice if he throws something. This time he gets it. And I was going to say, if he can just throw a punch or a fake right before the submission, he might lock it in. He's done it this time, but one thing I have been impressed with, and we're still seeing it, the sub defense of Spartan is pretty goddamn good. We're seeing it again here. Yeah. Less than half stamina, still able, even with an 80 statted sub defense, stay away from the 100 you get with Charles Oliveira. So good work there from Spartan to stay out of the subs, but ultimately there, boxer, I think it's Smudger's night, right?
Yeah, definitely Smudger's night. And like you said, this is just great manual defense. No matter what stat Conor McGregor has, is not that great in submission defense. Okay, yeah, there it is right there. That's quick. We got it. I was thinking, yeah, so we're already at the end of the fight. Yeah. And Smudger takes it, just a lot of control, took the fight to the ground, just an overall, performance, Bailey.
Yeah, and that's 1-1 for No Mercy and B3. So there we go. Third place still up for grabs here. I believe this is number 4 and first is number 6. Everyone from 3, 4, 5, 6 tonight is on 1-1 so far this season. So if you can get a win against a 1-1, you go 2-1. They go 1-2. You move up. It's how it works. So we've got one fight left. No Mercy are sending in, let me check because I didn't look. No Mercy are sending in Kyle, and B3 have got 3-piece. So Kyle making his debut tonight, 0-0, ready to represent. Going to be featherweight. First pick will be on Kyle. Looks like he might go Connor, but we'll see. So let's jump to the final match up here. And then we've got one more match coming up after this. We've got EK taking on the Tune Squad, which is very much people looking forward to that one this evening. But here we go, featherweight. Let's go to the third and final fight, 1-1 so far. Now this is a rubber match here, technically.
Okay, yeah, exactly. All right, now in this rubber match, you got Kyle, No Mercy Kyle. This is his ESFL debut. So we know it's always very interesting when you see somebody fight in the ESFL for the first time, because we know this is where the lights are the brightest, and this is not like playing online or anything else that you ever experienced, you know everyone's watching. You know everything's going to get recorded everywhere. It's going to be everywhere. So you want to have a good performance. Now, three-piece, this is not his debut. We've seen him. He has great combinations and great head movement, aggressive fighter, best jab in the game. And so we're going to see three-piece with the best jab in the game, utilizing it with one of the best fighters with the best jab in this Max Holloway pickup against Conor McGregor here. So round one, Bailey, an early ESFL debut for one of the fighters. What do you see?
Well, I love the picks here as well. You know, we just got to remember when you're playing Max, you can't go toe to toe. Oh my God, that's what you can do with McGregor right at the start of the game. You're gonna love that. That was a little four-piece, every bit of it landed, and he's still putting the pressure on right there. Straight, straight. There we go again, more damage, and this is not a good place to be in. It looks like, my goodness. I mean, I'm sure the No Mercy boys in the back are going crazy.
You're a wrestler.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say it there. Uppercut on the break as well. Could not have gone better. Gets tagged there though, but big trouble for three-piece early here.
Yeah, wow. Now three-piece has been in this situation, fought through adversity before, but you have to feel really good. Your ESFL debut, if you're Cal, coming out and you already got 2 knockdowns here, doing a great job. You even have the stamina advantage with this Conor McGregor meta pickup, but you got to be careful because Max Holloway has those 5 stars in the stand-up, and we know he has stamina for days here. But look at there, great head kick from Kyle here. Another knockdown, Bailey. This could be all she wrote here. Landing down the final touches, Bailey. Could this be it? And
holy, I mean, what a left hand. He just sat him down with. He face planted him. I can't believe he's back up. Only Max Holloway will survive that, I feel like, in this game. But there we go. Three-piece has been aggressive, non-stop walking in the face of Kyle's McGregor here. Oh, he's landed a left hook.
Here we go.
Oh my God. And this is probably why, but it's not necessarily the best idea to go toe-to-toe with McGregor. He's experiencing that, almost got put out right there, but now landing some damage. Let's see if Kyle can put the finishing touches. He is really just depleting the head health of three-piece there. I love it. For a debut, this man's feeling confident, boxer.
Yeah, like you said, not too many fighters could survive that sequence, and only somebody like a Max Holloway, because he has that 98-10, 98 cardio. So you got to make sure to get him out of there. But at some point, Bailey, it's just a little bit too much. And right now, I like the combinations that Kyle is throwing on the ground when he's in that full guard position. And I can see that he is smelling blood in the water here. Just the way that he's moving, just the way that he's pinning his opponent three-piece up against the cage on the back foot. But nice takedown here to mitigate that pressure and just, you know, just settle the fight down here for three-piece. And this is a very dominant position. Last 30 seconds, I think if you can survive this, get your stamina recovery and all of that 97 recovery that Max Holloway is going to get, then maybe you can collect yourself and beat a very strong debut fighter. And Kyle, wow, coming out winning that first round, Bailey.
Yeah, man. I mean, there was a little bit of an adjustment there from three-piece at the end, getting top position. Definitely something he should do. Yeah, kind of went toe-to-toe with Kyle in that first round and really paid for it in a lot of ways. Kyle just flowing here, maybe in danger of overthrowing a little bit just because of how good Holloway is at taking damage, and he has more stamina. But yeah, honestly, Kyle might end this right here. I mean, he would just battered him away like a fly. And it's all that left hook. And what Kyle is doing really well is he's jabbing and then seeing what the reactions are. He really is using that jab to kind of feel what's going on. There's another four-piece with a lead uppercut. I love he pitched that left hand off the head movement twice there in conjunction with how three-piece was stepping out. If he'd thrown it then, he might have cracked him with it. A level chase, double leg. I mean, three-piece is trying everything right here.
Yeah, man, three-piece is doing everything that he has to do to stay in this fight right now, but he's taking a lot of damage by Cal, and Cal is just really showing just how good of a fighter that he is. And man, I want to see if three-piece now, it didn't go good on the feet, but can you now mount the offense on the ground? Because you can end it here also, And it seems like this is his best path to victory if he's going to get it done.
Tell you what, Kyle's using some Bay Jitsu right here, you know, rolling instantly to the half guard in the sprawl position, sprawl faking there from side control to avoid the elbows. It's putting him at the stamina deficit, and he's having a tough time getting out from under 3Ps, but he is taking way less damage as a result of it, and I do like it. I do like it. Now gone back to the sprawl position. Ooh, tries to get the get up now. Yeah, that got denied this time, which is not good. Let's see if he just goes straight back to the half guard. Okay, as soon as I complimented it, Boxer, oh, he's doing everything you probably shouldn't. Double denied right there. Great way to take advantage from 3Ps. Does roll through to full guard, though. That's nice. Let's see if he can get a get up, because this is going well for 3Ps right now. This is what he wants.
Exactly. Now I think he has a game plan now. And hopefully he implemented it before it got to halfway point of the second round, because if he continues to do this for the remainder of the fight, then maybe you can put it in a situation where it'd be a tough on the judges' scorecards. But if you're 3Ps, I would think that you would be going for the knockout here, and not play point fight. But you just got reverse here. Now Cal, I'm expecting is going to get up exactly what he did, and 3Ps has to watch out for his uppercuts, because Cal is good at the uppercuts, just like what we said, Balian. He got a huge knockdown, and Balian feeling confident, instead of jumping on his opponent, wanting to taunt and say, get up, what's up? I'm right here, putting people on notice, Balian.
I mean, I do think that was sensible as well, just because of how the last ground exchange played out, getting back on the feet. You've done so much damage at this point. That was another left hand right there as well. Another drop, though. This is just secures another round. There's a beautiful pull back straight left.
Oh, she rolled. Balian, a ESFL debut for Cal, coming out, getting the job done from a very strong 3-piece, just showing everyone like, hey, it's a new challenger right here in the division. What do you think about that debut performance that Cal did? Just a masterpiece, baby.
Yeah, I mean, he landed that left hand so many times, man. Look at that pull counter straight left. I mean, it's very McGregory as well, which is nice to see. Yes, that is an adjective, McGregory. Come on now. It was beautiful work. I mean, I complimented his jiu-jitsu at some points until he was maybe doing some questions. We've all got our own game.
Yep.
Say too much. But yeah, unfortunately for 3-piece, going to 0-2 right there. Kyle gets a win in the debut, but more importantly, gets a win on the board for No Mercy. They will go 2-1 now at week 6 of this season. So yeah, man, they're moving slowly up. If you took it from right now, they're basically guaranteed a spot in the qualifiers at this point, because they're in that 3rd position. Obviously, there's a rest of the season to play out, but that's a great spot to be in. You know, you're 1-2 right now. They're 3-0. Both of them have not lost yet. Eventually, they will match up with each other. They haven't done yet, because neither of them has a loss, so they've got to play each other at certain points. I'm not sure when that will happen, but the point is, No Mercy go 2-1 over B3s, Bang Bang Bullies, and come in at that 3rd place. So great performance right there. Carl bringing it home. Debut. You're the last person on the team. It's neck and neck. It's all down to you. Great performance right there as well. I think for 3-piece, it was more an adjustment in the strategy, and then early on, all of those, maybe not mistakes, but like the commitment to getting on the inside and trying to bang it out, obviously cost him dearly. And by the time he kind of realized that, it was much too late. He'd already taken way too much damage, and it was a good way from Carl to finish. But great performance, Boxer. I think that fantastic for a debut from Carl. So keep an eye out for No Mercy's Carl. Boom. There we go, though. So let's jump on to the final matchup tonight. Let's have a look at the 2 teams going head to head. Match 4 here at season 4, week 6. ESFL, baby. We've got EK, one of the longest standing, biggest, most professional camps around, most well-rounded camps around, going against Pryoxis Tune Squad, an eclectic combination of high-level players he's pulled together from the interwebs. It's neck and neck. They are number 3 is EK and number 5 is Tune Squad right now. So whoever wins this will also be joint 3rd place, i.e. in that top 4, ready to go through to the qualifiers. Let's see it right now. First matchup, Gamp against Pryoxis. Then we've got Cage versus Aussie Kid, Kamapulia versus Darkside. But let's jump in. Gamp versus Pryoxis. Gamp won the coin toss, but they want the first pick here. So Pry picks middleweight. Here we go. First pick on God Ate My Pig, by the way, former ESFL champion boxer, right?
Okay, yeah. Former ESFL champion and God Ate My Pig, were also referred to as EK Gamp. all right, defeated KIA Ben in week 4, so he's feeling good. But this is where you also want to sit up in your seats. One of the biggest content creators for EA Sports UFC 4 and Pryoxis, Hoodie Pryoxis, defeated PK Diaz in week 4, but lost to Host Ninja in week 2. So his success has been hit or miss here. So I know he wants to come out and put on a good performance, especially picking Israel Adesanya here. With that pickup, you want to stay on the outside and you want to land those strikes from a distance, because once you close that distance, the advantage is going to go to God Ate My Pig with ruthless Robbie Lawler. And we know the stamina. Whenever Robbie Lawler gets hurt, that's when all of the perks activate. So this is going to be a very great matchup. Round 1, Bailey, and the table is set. Take it away.
Yeah, man, the table is set indeed. So we've got the Tune Squad in the blue corner. Oh, it's 5 rounds. Okay. You know, you set the table so well, Boxer. It was so good there. I was like, what a setup there. What a handoff to me there. I felt like an Olympic sprinter. Like, I'll take this baton. Let's go. But yeah, there was 5 rounds, so they got to reset the matchup right there. But we can talk a little bit about this pick matchup here as well, as we're seeing Pryoxis reply to some DMs while they're sorting out the second game. Interesting matchup though, right? I mean, Robbie Lawler, we've seen how effective he is tonight in the middleweight division against Adesanya. It's the ultimate pressure pick versus like the evasive hang on the outside pick. We'll see how Pryoxis deals with that pressure. Like, on one level, he's one of the most, creative, elusive outside fighters around. On another side, we have seen pressure be something that he's struggled to deal with in the ESFL. So it's like, will the high level plays, carry him through, or will he have to succumb to the pressure of a former ESFL champion? Pry, obviously, Pry was an ESFL champion himself, both former ESFL champions, but GAMP, God Ate My Pig. This man is no slouch. This man has beaten some of the best in the world. This is a tough fight, and it's kicking off this matchup here between the Tune Squad and EK. I'm loving it. So they will lock him back in. Here we go.
Yeah, this is Bailey. Like you said, this is going to be a nice pick. This is going to be a nice meta match to watch. Because anytime that you have Izzy, you can't necessarily fight him like you would any other traditional fighter, where you go in and you throw your strikes whenever you get in that range, because with these longer fighters, they actually have a couple more frames when they throw their strikes. All right. So you want to stay at that distance, utilize the range of Izzy. You want to utilize all of the kicks. But ruthless Robbie Lawler, like we said before, has a lot of power. And look, already closing the distance here where he wants to be for GAMP, starting out early in the first round, Bailey.
Oh, yeah, look at Gamp go right there. Perfectly timing the entries there of Pry. He got that slip left hook in there, uppercuts on the inside. And he's also kicking on the outside, which is really something he's going to need to do, either like contend in the kicking range or find a way to force the boxing range. And if he's going to throw kicks at himself, that's good. Pry mixing things up. Nice catch by Pry. Blocks the head, the knee there as well to the head. So nothing doing there. But it is about getting, that perfect range when you've got Israel, because if you're not in that range, your strikes really don't do a lot, and you can just really take a ton of damage. Lovely pull counter to the body shot. Nice work by Pry, popping the jab there as well. Got out of that body shot, but the left hook or the lead hook came back up. Oh, exchanging. So good sniper work there from Pry.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I like what I'm seeing early here, and coming out from Pryoxis with his distance management, definitely utilizing that range so far, able to land a nice body kick, but he's also taking damage. GAMP is also getting his GAME off and able to do a lot of damage here on Pryoxis. Back and forth, not sure who's winning so far, Bailey.
Yeah, Gamp already reading the duck under from Pry right here, loading that uppercut. He's also banging that liver kick, which is just a really good weapon with Robbie Lawler. It just lands a lot. People don't always expect it because you box so much. So making good use of that inside leg kick straight up the top there. Pry doing a lot of pressuring right now. Obviously doesn't want to be on the back foot. It'll just make his life a lot harder in this matchup. But because of that, Gamp is being able to slip a lot of this incoming damage and return fire. Nice work from Pry. Gets a switch and a T That's good body work that's only going to pay off. Talked about one of the good ways to beat Robbie Lawler is to wrestle him, not an option for Pry right now, but if he can establish a good kicking game and win in those exchanges, it's going to help as well. There's a nice 1-2 body kick. Snap through. Great work by Pry. Need more of that, but you can see Gamp taking his time in no rush right here, confident in the recovery stat, in the stamina stat as well. They're pulling out the offense now as well, so just completely whiffing. He's got it. Nice work there,
one thing that you have an advantage with Israel Adesanya is that 99 switch stance, 99 footwork, and 99 head movement, but you have to utilize it from the outside, because once you get inside of that range there, God Ain't My Pig is doing a good job at landing his strikes. But like I'm seeing right now from Pryoxis, you know, as long as he's the one applying that pressure where he can utilize that footwork, step back, and keep that range, I think he's going to be at an advantage. I'm not sure who took that first round there in round 1, Balian. It seems like they gave the striking advantage to GAMP, so Pryoxis may have some work to recover here from in round 2.
Oh, exchanging there as well. Yeah, Pry's landing the damage when he exchanged, but this is Robbie Lawler. Like, you can just tank damage all night. This is a war of attrition that will turn into, there's a lovely flying knee from Pry though, doubles up to the body, good work, and the switch lands as well from the switch stance. That's just good solid damage. And there's a lovely question mark kick off the straight. Tried it earlier, didn't land, but this is the kind of stuff Pry needs to hurt the Robbie Lawler pick right here. Otherwise he'll just keep walking him down all night. So he's no means done. 3 in a row there. Set him up for that pull counter. Lovely work.
Okay, now this really kind of evens things up if you think that GAMP won the first round. Pryoxis coming out here in this second round getting 2 early rocks. You really have to be careful when you're the one that catches a kick, because your opponent can, you know, do the flying knee, Bailey, and like we said, and get a rock, and then Pride followed that up with another rock. So he's sitting pretty good here in this second round. If you're Pryoxis, staying on the outside doing what you need to do with Izzy. But just as I said that, now Pryoxis is facing adversity, and he gets a rock there. Good job by Gamp getting a rock there with Robbie Lawler.
Yeah, I think especially against Robbie Lawler, the problem is, though, a good defense is definitely going to be a good offense in this situation, because if you're going to let him walk forward and just try and sort of win out a round that you've got a rock on, you're going to take a lot more damage than what you can probably deter on the outside. But Pry obviously very much aware. Every time he does miss, he's in line to take more shots, and now the block is deteriorating slowly but surely. Such a hard pig to deal with, honestly. Robbie Lawler in this weight class, I do feel like you got to wrestle a little bit, but there's some nice sniper work from Pry from the outside. Another body kick. Gamp though playing this perfectly, really, now leading with the straight left and just going to keep chipping away at the block and everything else he can. Double jab's been working nicely for him. Lead uppercut straight doesn't land. Until Pry's trying to shuffle his way on the inside, try and land something, but it's been 2 stuns to 1. Still Pry's round technically, but that head health and everything is going down.
It seems like Gamp was a little bit more cognizant of that flying knee after you catch a kick, and that's where Pryoxis was able to do his work. In a huge combination there from Pryoxis, and here he is in that position again, looking for the knee. Pryoxis wasn't able to get it off. If you are very aggressive after you catch a kick, your opponent won't have time to throw that knee. So that was a good adjustment there by GAMP. The last 17 seconds, both fighters have had their success here in the second round. I will give it to Pryoxis in the second round. So coming huge knockdown there to end the round. And that may pay dividends going into the third round, which right now I have both of those fighters tied up 1-1, Balian. And so both of these fighters need this round to win this match, but we know this is when Robbie Lawler is at his best. Whenever he is hurt, this is when his perks kick in, Balian. So Pryoxis is not out of the woods yet.
I mean, Pry threw that straight question mark kick in the first round, and God just sat there and just blocked it so slowly. It was almost like, oh, that's probably not going to work. But he landed it twice and dropped him twice with it. in that
Yeah.
second round. So Pry making it work for him regardless. Now on the hips. Good frame off there from Pry. Can he survive through this third round, though, is the question, because the head health and the block is just slowly chipping away. And you know that his corner has probably recognized it. Pull counter right hook. That might be it. Depends on the recovery stat. The Aurora has got it. There we go. Puts him away. And great performance by Pryoxis. It was tough to tell. Hard matchup. And Got It My Pig came very, very correct tonight. Picking his shots nicely, making the Robbie Lawler pick work. But evidently took a lot more damage than we perhaps had realized. And a pull counter right hand like that will definitely put your lights out. And it did. So congratulations for Pry. They get a win for the team. That's one on the board for the Tune Squad.
Well, yeah, that's what I was thinking. The way that Pryoxis ended the second round and got a knockdown against Gamp, that right there snowballed and it continued in the third round. And Pryoxis with an amazing pull counter, not easy to do with an Israel Adesanya, because you have to understand the timing and the distance. And it's not the most powerful striker in the division, only at a 94. But when you mix everything else with it, the accuracy, the blocking, the head movement, footwork, switch stance, all of that stuff, that's where you can kind of get in that flow, in that rhythm. Pryoxis is the best at fighting a simulation style. And once he gets comfortable on the feet, then you're in trouble. Great fight by both of those guys. Exciting fight. Good win for Pryoxis this week. Getting a win for the Tune Squad. So
yeah, man, great performance. You mentioned there as well. Yeah, the pull counter range is a bit different there on Adesanya, so it can be a little tricky to master. But I think what had happened there as well is on the lead hook that got pulled, he'd already preloaded like the forward moving uppercut, and when you're throwing that, your vulnerability window is super high. So obviously that right hand just put him down, and he followed up from that. So it was a combination of both those things, really, from the over intention of that lead hook rear uppercut. But regardless, that's one on the board for the Tune Squad here, so gonna be happy with that. 2-1 for Pry now, so had a bit of difficulty in week 2 here, but now week 6, 2 wins in a row. Pry flowing through nicely, so probably will look to continue that momentum next time out. There, unfortunately for Gam, not able to get the job done. Wow, that was weird. Anyway, let's go to the next one. It's gonna be lightweight. So yeah, 1-0 right now for the Tune Squads. They have a chance to bring it back to EK Gaming here, and I'm sure they will. They've sent out Cage tonight, who's going to pick lightweight ESFL debut for this man, and he's going up against a 2-0 Aussie kid. Tough fight. Let's see what Cage has got.
all right. So, like you said, this is the ESFL debut for Cage right here, and then fight no slouch in Aussie kid. Beat Bang Bang in week 2, beat MMA Genius in week 4. So Aussie Kid is on a nice, impressive run this season. Cage coming out with this Dustin Poirier pickup, which is going to be a lot of problems. But this Nate Diaz pickup, I really like it here in the lightweight division. As whenever you take Nate Diaz down, he's going to be good in that full guard off of the back. We already know Nate Diaz has great boxing. Dustin Poirier coming with that speed and that power, definitely going to be needed, especially when you're making your ESFL debut, Bailey. It's always exciting to see somebody take their first steps in the ESFL. What are they going to do here, Bailey, in round 1? Take it away.
Yeah, I think Aussie, we've seen his Nate Diaz last time out, and he was very, very effective with it, getting a lot of love in the chat as well. Quick shout out to MMA Troll there for gifting some Twitch subs as well. Thank you very much, MMA Troll. Appreciate that and the support. Those guys who got them, I'm sure they're getting way less adverts as well for being sub now, so that's good as well. But here we go, Aussie kid already laying the hands go. We have muted this one, guys. They've got live mics, so we don't want any crossover, so no audio, unfortunately. But again, on the outside, this work from Aussie, and he really lets the hands go as well. It's never 1 or 2. He's always looking to throw multiple combinations. The slips are coming out, but will it be enough? There's a lot of pressure constantly, and I would love to see some calf kicks coming out because Poirier's got such good calf kicks as well. Lead hook over and over again. The 2 to the body lands, comes back up top with a 3 as well. That's great work too. Aussie kid not letting up on the pressure for a second though, Boxer.
Yeah, Aussie kid really applying that pressure. I like the distance management from Cage, really showing a lot of poise in his ESFL debut. I like the level changes. I like he's doing work on the body already. We can see the damage visibly, against Ozzy Kid, but Ozzy Kid, like you said, Bailey, is really good. You know, with this pickup, these fighters going back and forth, got him even right now.
Yeah, good work there, though, by Caged on the inside, really making it work for him. Off the level changes, bangs out the turn inside kick. No leg kicks really at all. Not obviously part of the game plan tonight for Caged. And now Ozzy trying to get those interruptions with those stiff straight shots. The jab coming out, lead hook. He's banging that one out as well. And it's just so hard to really hurt Nate Diaz on the game. This is the thing. I mean, there's some nice slipped, crispy shots that have slipped through from Cage. But, I mean, Ozzy Kid looks like he's just started the first round. There's barely any damage on him. Oh, there's another 1, 2, 3. Now waiting on Cage to try and intercept, but got beaten to the punch right there. Cage powered that one through as well. So they're both going tit for tat on techniques here. It's about that 2 of Nate. Rear uppercut on the break there. Nice work. And a 2. That's done some big damage, even though we can't see it, especially off that body shot. So great work by Ozzy, who's back on this pressure. Just straight boxing, though, still is Cage right here.
Yeah, the only thing we're seeing is boxing here. No big significant strikes that I can see that lead to any type of rock or so any significant damage so far. But, you know, if you're going to do something to Nate Diaz pick up, you better do it early because he gets stronger as the fight goes on with that higher altitude and marathoner perk and carve the wood. I mean, just all the perks that you want to survive. And that's what you have when you get this Nate Diaz pickup, and Ozzy Kid can play it so nicely. So if you're with this ESFL debut, right now, first round, very, very strong round, very safe round. And I think there's nothing wrong with that, especially when you're able to chunk off as much stamina as you've done to that Nate Diaz pickup. It's better than some of the other debuts that we've seen, and they come out and they just blow their stamina right away, and then they're already out of it in the second round. Not the case here for Cage, making a good case for himself and his name and why he deserves to be here in this second round, Bailey. What are you seeing right now? What does Cage have to do to maintain what he's built in the first round?
Well, we have seen Ozzy lose a fair bit of stamina at the end of that round, but it's basically all come back here as well.
Yeah.
And this is, I don't know if we can test the audio again just to see if those mics maybe got switched off in between rounds, but this has been a very high-paced fight, Boxer. They've both just been slinging shots at each other non-stop. So someone probably will look to gas at some point, or at least the block might head down. But if you're Caged, man, get back to the body, then come back up top to their head. We're tentatively putting the audio back on now. We should be good. And I would like to see some calf kicks, if only to set things up.
Yeah, exactly. Especially with that Nate Diaz, not the strongest, in the leg department. But with this Dustin Poirier pickup, I forgot in between rounds, he has recharger perk. So, he's going to recover a lot. Ooh. And there it is, Bailey, and a huge rock there coming out for the ESFL debut. Cage that has to feel good. But you got to be careful because we got that carve the wood perk from Nate Diaz. So this is when he gets stronger and as the fight goes on. So it's just going to be an uphill battle. But that's a good rock there from Cage, getting it done early in the second round with a huge rock.
Yeah, I mean, that's good work. Being a lot more patient as well. I feel like he's not just trying to force his way on the inside to land stuff for the sake of landing it and taking advantage of the speed of Poirier, mixing up the head movement, really finding a flow right now. Is Caged, and Ozzy is just whiffing on everything. Can't find the timing, can't catch him. And when he does, it's generally bouncing off the block, mixing up the kicks now as well to get more space, close off the distance. Ozzy can circle out. That's lovely work from the teep. Ozzy's just letting the hands go right now, but the power of Poirier is going to show through on this block, on the head health, and his non-stop landing. Cage has got Super Saiyan here, Boxer.
Yeah, exactly. So you're talking about a 95 punch power from Dustin Poirier, and one thing I like about Cage, after he throws his combinations, he's good at doing some head movement, because so you can't just return fire because he's always moving his head, and he's actually mixing up his head movement. Sometimes it's a duck, sometimes it's a slip off to the right or the left, sometimes it's a pull. So Ozzy Kid has to try to get a beat on that and try to figure out what he's going to do, when he moves his head. But also Cage is he's moving his head with the defensive sway. All right, so it may not be no offense coming out, but he's staying safe after the combination. It shows a lot of experience and great technique there. I like what I'm seeing from Cage.
Yeah, Aussie is just second place in every exchange so far. I mean, Cage steps in, throws a combination, and then when Aussie fires back, he just covers or slips everything, almost for like the second half of that round entirely there. Cage really found a flow around Aussie's defense, who I think needs to take a breath and try and get back on the bike or find a different shot. If I was him, I'd stick to something simple, maybe boxer, like a straight lead uppercut, just something with some stopping power that can interrupt an oncoming guy and then kind of branch out from there. But he was either trying to exchange at the same time or was just going second and getting stuck in that rhythm of always being second and just getting outstruck. So great second round for Cage, all to play for in this third. Don't forget, Tune Squad are up 1, so really right here, I believe, I'll just double check the teams here, blimey. Yeah, Caged is for EK, so Caged with Poirier needs to put him away if he wants to get the points for his team.
Okay, yeah, that's a good nuance. And so we can't see the recharge perk and exactly how much stamina Cage got back, but now that you're in the third round, you're going to consume less stamina with this Nate Diaz pickup. And so that's what you get with that marathoner or high altitude perk, which is taking effect now in the third round. But Cage doesn't care about any of that. And gets a huge rock there with a huge left hand. And he's kind of pouring on the pressure right now, and exactly what he should do, trying to get this knockout. I like that head movement, great head movement that I'm seeing from Cage. Nice teep. And look at there. He is able to beat Nate Diaz to the punch and getting another rock against the Cage Balian. Shit, switching levels, going down low, going up high. Is he going to be able to get another knockdown in the third round? Cage seems like he is in control here, Balian.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Stepping through, landing big shots. Aussie, he's 2-0 so far this season. He's not been beaten, and he's picked Diaz, I don't know, twice, but definitely once before. And he's kind of getting beaten at his own game a little bit here, because this has almost been a straight boxing fight. The teeps have really helped, but there's another jab to the body, jab to the head, level change, and then just ready to just cover up. And Aussie has been on the back foot almost exclusively for the second half of this fight, which just means he's waited for the offense, and then he's trying to fire back, but almost every time nothing lands. And then he goes again and it gets blocked. And then Cage comes back and he needs to go first. There it is with the 2. Actually went first on a combination and timed it beautifully, rocked him. And now an onslaught there. Another 2 at the end, sticking him stiff. That's better from Aussie. And now he's on his bike, moving forward. Let's see if he can put some pressure on, despite having lost so much head and body health already.
Yeah, even though Nate Diaz only has an 86 power, you got to watch out, because those moves have high move levels and they still do a lot of damage with a 93 speed attached to that. But if he's going to get it done, he has to do it in 1 minute and 30 seconds. Has Cage done enough to already win this match? But if you're Ozzy Kid, I would think that you want to go for the knockout here. Not sure exactly what he has to do. But that's one thing he well-timed uppercut there, and I would expect that he's going to pour on the pressure. But here it is, the nice defensive sway there coming out by Cage. It gets a rock of his own Balian and a huge body shot there for the KO. Cage coming out in his ESFL debut, just putting in work, putting people on notice, Bailey.
It was a lead hook, left hook to the body there. 1-2. It just put him out. Lead hook, boom, left hook. It looked like he was maybe swaying off a little bit to the outside as well, so it would have buffed up the damage on it. But there we go. Yeah, great performance by Cage. Wow. Struggled early, but he just took out a guy that's 2-0 this season, which is pretty damn good. I mean, this is high-level competition. Showed up, stayed composed, got his game plan working. It was kind of strange, though, because Aussie towards the end of that was picking things up, getting back on the forward pressure and having a lot of success. I don't know what the game plan was, or if he changed the game plan, what happened, but almost after that first round, the fight kind of just started getting away from him and he couldn't bring it back. Might have just been that Cage had made all the adjustments he needed to make, started throwing those teeps and stuff. But really great performance for your ESFL debut, boxer.
Yeah, when you come out here on an ESFL debut and you put on that type of performance, it's very impressive. But when we was watching this was not, no luck or anything, but all of these fighters are skilled. But we saw a style. It wasn't like coming out and it's like the most exciting thing but that you've seen. But when I'm watching it and we're doing an analysis, I'm seeing Cage has done everything that he needs to do to stay safe, score, and win the fight. And then when you see your moments, that's when you let go some of your heavy hands, especially with all of that power that Dustin Poirier has. And by the third round, you can put it all together and then get your exciting kind of, knockout. Necessarily doesn't come early. And so it's like a delayed satisfaction. And that's probably a lot of times the best way to come out instead of coming out gassing out early. Man, that was a great performance though, Bailey.
Yeah. All right, let's go to this final fight then. It is 1-1, Kamapulia and Darkside. It comes down to this. Okay, great matchup here. Boxer between two guys we've seen a bunch of. But what do you got on these two?
All right, so Kamapulia defeated KIA McGrath in week 4. So we know how strong McGrath is. He is fighting no slouch in the content creator Darkside, a very strong fighter, participated in ESFL Live, so he's one of the best fighters that we've seen. He has a very patient style. He has a lot of great striking, especially when it comes to the cage. You got to watch out because he can take that fight to the ground, and he has a very great ground game, a very cerebral fighter. He definitely likes to fight in a simulation style. I've seen Darkside fight, so I can't wait to see how he does against Kamapulia. Right now, they're in the middleweight division, and they have this Robbie Lawler pickup. We've seen, Robert Whitaker pickup. This is the Reaper Robert. Now, who would Darkside pick up? Is he going to go with the Israel Adesanya pickup? He's going to have to stay on the outside, but he's not going to do that. Let's see who he ends up picking. Cycling through, we seeing the Dragon, Lyoto Machida. I haven't heard or seen that name since Joe Rogan said this is the Machida era. I haven't seen it. So this is going to be interesting here. Going to do my homework to see what Lyoto Machida is bringing to the table. We know he has that good Taekwondo and all of the kicks and things to that nature, but it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out here. Last fight of the night against Kamapulia.
Pryoxis has just raised a point in the chat. This is down on the official schedule as a welterweight fight, and the first fight of the night in this matchup with Pryoxis was at middleweight. So I don't know why we're at middleweight again, but we are. Maybe they agreed between themselves, or I'm not sure what happened, but we're here at middleweight. So either man has quit, and there we go. This is a really interesting pick with Lyoto Machida. Obviously, we saw Darkside at ESFL Live, played very well, very patient player, maybe didn't pull the trigger too much when he should have, and that may have cost him a few of those matches. So let's see how aggressive he is tonight. I like the sort of counter pick, karate versus karate, but when it comes to recovery and power and health stats, you're at a big disadvantage with Lyoto Machida here. So let's see what Darkside can do if he can take advantage of those high-level kicks like that one, where you will get a ton of damage. If you can land a few of them, you can really change the course of this fight. So tough matchup for Darkside with Kamapulia and that pick, but he's locked it in 1-1. This is for the top 4 guys, either 3rd or 4th place, depending on how they shake up the rankings. So this is important for both teams to win, to stay in the rankings. But right now, Darkside walking into more combinations here. That's pull counter, right hand drops him nicely off the back, and double knees to the body, uppercut and swinging shots on the break. Double shots down there again, level changing up top, and it's already over, Boxer.
Bailey, as I hadn't even finished, I was just looking at Machida and the fight's over with it. But one thing that I was going to point out was definitely is a little lacking in the health, the chin department, only a 90, 91 cardio. Before I even was going to make that point, I mean, Lyoto Machida is out of there. I mean, Bailey, that was a very impressive performance by Kamapulia. Not sure what happened. Seems like we're going to stay with the results of that match, even though it was at middleweight. But man, Kamapulia coming out, just getting it done with that strong Robert Whitaker pickup. Bailey, and what do you think about that performance? The fastest fight of the night.
I had just read in chat that they were going to be able to quit and pick welterweight and run it back, but now they can't because they got knocked out, man. I mean, this is kind of what I was saying, as good as Lyoto is, you just don't have the stats to go toe to toe. You can't. there's such a fine line between taking 3 punches and it dropping you and being able to take an extra 4th punch and being able to block that 4th punch or move out of the way. But when you can't take as many shots in certain positions, it's just not going to end well. And that's how it played out. I mean, there was great forward pressure. Obviously, there was some lag in that game as well. So if you're going to be more defensive on the back foot, it's going to be, oh, are they going back now? Hang on a minute. What is happening now? We need to find out.
Are we going to have to?
We're getting notification that they may be doing a rematch anyway. Okay, this might be happening. I mean, we're not in charge of this, are we, Boxer? We just do as we're told.
No, I'm just we'll commentate whatever comes up.
Okay, so apparently, if Kamapulia is apparently fine with it as well, we're going back. Okay, we're rematching this one. Okay, and now we are at 170. So.
Okay, all right. So we're doing it again, but this time we're doing it at the proper division that was specified earlier. So we're in the welterweight division. Okay, so we've laid out the table for both of those fighters. We've already saw what Kamapulia has to do. So if you're dark side, it seems like, okay, that didn't work out too well on the feet. So I want to get a grappler, and that's what you want to do if you're looking at Kamaru Usman against Leon Edwards. Leon Edwards, a great striker. You know, he's definitely going to be sufficient on the ground too. Kamapulia is going to have to come out, do some of the same things that he did in that middleweight fight. But dark side, if you want to be able to take that early fight and learn from it, kind of got, you know, a free kind of like loss there that didn't count. Bailey in round 1, what are you seeing?
Well, man, I mean, it's a completely different fight now, isn't it? Darkseid has picked Usman, so he's going to try and get those hands going, has a few bits of kicking on the outside, but Kamapulia straight back with this Leon pick, and that's what got him the win last time, the body damage, and he has just unloaded a ton, and that is actually the weakest part of Usman's game defensively, pretty much. I don't know what the stats are, but I know that is one of the vulnerable areas you can attack, or his knees, and he's loading up right now. So much damage early, and we said Darkseid had been at ESFL Live, but was a bit of a slow starter, liked to play patiently. Not that he's being overly patient now, but definitely Kamapulia finding the target to that body now, level changing down there with a double jab. If that rear uppercut can come up from Darkseid, it might be a bit of a better weapon for him. But great evasive footwork and the constant body attacks from Kamapulia. My God.
Yeah, okay. So, well, even though he's taking a lot of damage, it's definitely going a little bit better than that. The pickup with Lyoto Machida went all the way to the other side of the spectrum, going with one of the former champion, Kamaru Usman. So definitely one of the meta pickups here. Nice uppercut there coming out, you know, from Darkseid. But Kamapulia already landed a lot of damage. And like you said, that body health of Kamaru Usman is serviceable. It's a 94, so it's not too bad. But you still cannot take all of that damage coming out, you know, from Kamapulia with this Leon Edwards pickup.
There's the takedown attempt right there, but it's that single leg angle. That one arguably is the easiest to defend for most players. Darkseid a bit of a tough spot against the cage, maybe just banged out the first takedown that came out of his fingers, but well defended by Kamapulia, and he's way back to this body damage, which is so much this early in the fight. Stamina-wise, it's not seeming to affect him. He's got really high cardio, but, you know, we saw the finishing sequence in this first little matchup these two had, and that was a win on the board right there for EK when they desperately need it. And here, the Tune Squad will be cheering on Darkseid, knowing he's got what it takes, trying to pump that jab out, vulnerable to that straight left, those digging straight lefts to the body. More of them have landed. I love that. 2 to the body, back up top, and then a lead hook to the body. It's just great work from Kamapulia on the back foot as well.
All right.
Oh, nice there.
Yeah, I see Darkseid. He's doing a lot better in this match. It seems like he's definitely going to get out of the first round. But with Kamaru Usman, you want to be able to grapple as much as possible as he has that grinder perk. So he's going to take less stamina when he's grappling on the feet. So even though he got it, his grapple attempt denied, you're not going to take as much of that stamina loss. So I would, if I was, you know, Darkseid, I would want to go to that grappling. There we go. Shades of the first match that we saw. The body damage is leading to a rock. So you got to be cognizant of that coming out in the second round. What do you think the, you know, What does Darkseid have to do, Bailey, here? You know, not to get in that position. Should he go straight to the ground or what?
I think he should probably try and hunt that takedown again if he can, but more of these, but there we go. That's good timing on that as well. That's an instant takedown. Good work from Darkseid to get it to the mat. Let's see if he can keep it here, but even there at the end, he threw the rear uppercut. Well, there's the backside sit out already, but he threw the rear uppercut lead hook and it missed. It whiffed, and that's why we got the body rock at the end with a liver kick. But even when he's trying to counter with the uppercuts, he's still in dangerous position. But we're on the mat. Grappling has been initiated. Full mount is going to come out here though for Kamapulia, and you know Leon's pretty damn good on the ground as well, especially top position. This is not a great place to be for Darkseid. If you're Usman, nice slip there to avoid some of that damage, but you know he's going to try and rack up as much as he can here as Kamapulia, and not necessarily any better of a situation for Darkseid.
Yeah, like you said, no slouch on the ground. 92 top control coming out for Leon Edwards, and his ground striking is also a 92, so it's nothing really to play around with. Kamaru Usman, you know, is only 89 on bottom control, actually. I think that could have been one of the updates, right? Because, you know, a 3-star bottom control for Kamaru Usman, you know, probably after, you know, losing the title there, got an update. So not as strong as we're used to seeing the Kamaru Usman when he's on his back, Bailey. Surprised to see that.
Yeah. I mean, when you see these, you never see him on his back, so you can't really stat him that way, can you? So, but classically, most wrestlers, you know, never as good on their back typically. Well, some people are, you know, they just don't go there because they're so good on top, but you got to give someone a chance to win somehow. So yeah, definitely that's a great place to put Usman on his back. It's exactly what happened there off that reversal. Unfortunately, Darkseid's not been able to really find his way back to any kind of a dominant position on the ground there. I mean, that was just a simple double tap. One pass to full guard, didn't get it. Now the arm triangle's coming in. Might be looking for the pass here, Boxer, but it is kind of tight, actually.
Yeah, definitely. Submission for Leon Edwards, only an 89, 93 submission defense for Kamaru Usman, so he has advantage. But this thing is really close here, Bailey. We're looking at this is a very strong stage here. He has nothing. He doesn't lose a position here. This just transitioned him, you know, into side control. He's scoring a lot of points here, and that's about as close as it can get to winning that match. Doing a lot of damage, scoring a lot of points there, Bailey. Just a great submission when you initiate that from half guard because you have nothing to lose.
Yeah, if you look at the head and body health of Kamapulia as well, it doesn't look like he's taken any damage, unfortunately. So with a whole round left to fight after this, it's going to be tough for Darkseid. More body work and another left hook to finish him off right there. Kamapulia showing up tonight.
Yeah, huge rock, you know, huge knockout there again with that body damage coming out. I mean, Bailey, that, you know, that's about as good as you can get. Very impressive performance by Kamapulia.
Yeah, triple shots to the body there as well. Unfortunately, no uppercut return. Good, you know, good showing there from Darkseid. In some ways, he was able to kind of avoid some damage, but ultimately, Kamapulia kind of put on a bit of a clinic there with that performance tonight. It was very good. Loads of body work that unfortunately, you know, he just wasn't able to find an answer to, especially when you're Usman, you have that footwork disadvantage and someone's getting in, hitting the body. It's very hard for you then to walk them down and try and find your own damage when they're already in and out. And that's basically what Kamapulia kept hitting over and over again right there. So in terms of the standings, I don't think they're updated yet, are they? Person in my ear. They just got updated. Well, let's take a look at the standings then. After week 6, guys, here you go. You can see, so new people in the first position is going to be Team Dark right here. Second place, though, still at 3. Oh, no, sorry, it's not first position. I was giving the game away that I was talking before I could see it then there, isn't it? Because I was like, they'll definitely be number 1. Okay, there we go. The Kings have been locked in at number 1. Oh, I've been messaged about this. Hang on, let me just read this. Okay, no, it's fine. I was told earlier that Dark would take the top spot, but ultimately doesn't matter. They're both 3-0 Boxer, and they're not playing to be number 1. They're playing to get inside the top 4 at the end of the season. So it doesn't really matter. both 3-0. Let's say joint first place. Coming in there third place though and fourth, Elite Kings and No Mercy after those performances tonight. That comeback in the end, the No Mercy pick. We had who was it? Kyle coming through against Three Piece there, getting that final secure win in there for No Mercy, and we just saw Komapulia taking out Darkside there as well. So there we go, 3 and 4. So Elite Kings will stay at number 3. Tune Squad coming in 1 and 2 at 5th place. With Bang Bang's Bullies there, 6th position, and then we still got Showtime Killers and the Killers in action as well. So ready to go and push on through for the next week. Which let's take a look at the schedule for next week to see what the matches are for. All right, don't forget next week is actually going to be Xbox. Me and Boxer won't be here. We Bane and Bruce Lee Rob, but then coming in for week 8, I want you to take a look at bottom left hand corner, October 23rd, week 8. That is the next group of matchups. So we'll have Dark taking on EK, the Kings taking on No Mercy, the Tune Squad taking on the Killers in action, and B3 taking on the Showtime Killers. So that is your next PlayStation card, week 8, October 23rd. Next weekend, October 6th, we've got an Xbox card for you with lots of good fights as well. Also, maybe a special fight. We're trying to work on something for you. Won't announce or say anything. Maybe. Boxer, what did you think about tonight? Good performances, a good event, week 6?
A very good event. One thing that I'm looking at is Dark and the Kings. I want to see that matchup whenever it happens, to settle that tie for first. The debut fighters, very impressive. It's not all the time that you see debut fighters come out and look like veterans and take out veterans. So ultimately, a great night of fights. Some very eye-opening things. I think a lot of people are going to go back to the lab, get in the bag, come out a lot better, some things to work on. But right now, man, the performances that I've seen from Dark, especially, with Papa Doc, facing the most adversity that you can face before your fighter is knocked out in the game and still able, to rise above that and get a win is very impressive. And it shows no matter what point you're at in the fight, if you have enough skill, you still can get it done. So overall, great event, baby.
Yeah, I think it was indeed. All right, thank you everyone for tuning in. We appreciate that, whether that was on YouTube, Facebook as well now, or here on Twitch. Thanks for betting tonight with your channel points. And a good night of fights, I think, Boxer. We saw some wins, some losses, some debut performances that came out great. And even though, the top 2 teams that are still on top, it was still competitive across the board, I thought, this evening as well. And yeah, week 6, so we've got 14 weeks. So we're not even halfway yet. When we get halfway, it'll be fun. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us once again. Shout out to everyone in the back for this one. ESFL team again coming through. Wranglers, the matchmakers. We've got Boiler kicking some butt this week as well. In our ear, Mr. Feckett, thank you for running the show tonight. Boxer, as always, really appreciate your time every Sunday. Thank you for giving a big chunk of it, mate. Did you have a good time? Any final words from you, Boxer?
Yeah, and that's about it. Just wrapped up a good event. Looking forward to week 8 coming up, and man.
All right. Well, me and Boxer will see you then, week 8. But tune in next week, 2 p.m. CT, for more of the same on the Xbox side of things, which is also heating up pretty much over there as well. So it'll be a good time. So enjoy the rest of your Sundays. Have a good time. Don't forget to follow us on the Twitters and the Instagram. Jump in the community Discord as well, so you can sign up for these events and take part yourself if you want to. And we will see you next time. Goodbye, everybody.
fast. Already Pry. Oh, beautiful counter to the takedown. Thank you for joining us tonight.
A disadvantage to Zyaf, but then he...
Waiting too much on Trixie. Nice shooting, good turning.
Watch the next Twitch. Watch it on YouTube. Watch him from the Proudly World tonight. I know the UFC isn't on right now, but guess what? The virtual octagon is here.